The full 5-year, $228 million Supermax includes an opt-out after the 4th year. Giannis isn't the only one that this is a big day for, explains Woj.
John Horst, the general manager, and owner Mark Lazary. This is a huge coup for Milwaukee, and I think for smaller market teams all over the NBA to be able to keep a player of this stature. This is a big day for the Bucks.
Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN's Jenna Lane. Buccaneers leading rusher Ronald Jones underwent a procedure to have a pin inserted into a fractured pinky finger. He still has a chance to play against the Falcons on Sunday. Tampa Bay is currently the 6th seed in the NFC. College football news. Virginia Tech coach Justin Fuente will return for a 6th season with the Hokies this fall. And the second-to-last college football playoff rankings of the season will be released tonight exclusively at 7 Eastern on ESPN TV and the ESPN app.
It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
All right, everybody, welcome in. It is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. I hope everyone's had a great day. I'm pumped for today's show. A lot to get into. Of course, we're going to open up with the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens, and arguably probably the best Monday Night Football game that I've seen probably since the Rams and the Chiefs a few years ago with Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes. Just the back and forth. I mean, Patrick Mahomes had 7 touchdowns or something crazy like that. I mean, that last night was fantastic. I told Kev when I got here that it wasn't even the result I wanted, but I was so pumped about how great that game, how fun that game. I can't remember the last time I watched a game like that. It sucks the team I wanted to win didn't win, but I was so entertained that that trumped my anger, the fact that the Browns lost the game. It was the weirdest thing I've never been. It was the weirdest feeling after a team I'm pulling for to win loses, but that's just how damn good of a game it was. It had everything. It had drama, it had excitement, it had the Browns starting out hot, it had them falling behind, it had the drama, it had Lamar leaving the game, coming back to the game, it had everything you can imagine that could happen in a game happened last night. Unfreaking real. And the quarterbacks were the two stories of last night, and for the totally two different reasons. I mean, both had fantastic games last night in totally different opposite styles. What a game last night, and that's what we open up with here today. The Cleveland Browns, of course, dropping last night's Monday Night Football home matchup against, of course, the Baltimore Ravens. 47-42, the final last night. Yesterday, I predicted 33-17 to score. I predicted the Browns would win 33-17. I didn't get that right, but I did predict that we'd see Baker throw for over 300 yards. Yes. I did predict that he would throw 2 touchdowns. I did predict he would throw an interception. Yeah, I didn't predict the rushing touchdown though.
I had to twist your arm to get you to that 300.
You started talking me out of it, but no, last night for one. I mean, I don't even know where. I know where to open up with. I know we're opening up with the Browns and Ravens. But I have to say this about last night. The one thing that was interesting, everyone last night said, with the end result, typical Browns. Last night's end result was not your typical Browns. A loss is a loss, but there are losses that are weighted differently than other losses. For instance, last night the Ravens came in at 7-5, in desperate need of a win. They desperately. That's me. Of course, I need to hit that. Mute that. I don't even know why we have the volume up on that. Anyways, okay. So last night the Ravens came into this matchup at 7-5. They desperately needed a win. They lose. Last night was a playoff game for them. Had the Ravens not beat the Cleveland Browns, the Ravens' playoff chances, they're pretty much dead in the water. So last night, the Baltimore Ravens, it was a playoff game for them. They had to win. Had they lost, they would have been in huge trouble. Had the Baltimore Ravens lost, their season's probably done. Had the Baltimore Ravens lost, that would have been more catastrophic for them than the team that actually lost last night. Last night, I think the reason that I wasn't as upset as what I thought I was going to be for a Browns team losing is because all of the work that the Browns had put in coming into this game, it's just it's a reflection of how good this Browns team has been this year, that you can lose a game this late in the season against a division rival and it not impact your standings within the playoffs whatsoever. They didn't move out of the playoff standings. They didn't even move from that 5 spot. The Ravens didn't pass them. They didn't even drop back in the AFC North standings. The Browns, nothing happened to them last night other than just not getting the W. I know that sounds a little crazy. It sounds like I'm missing out on the most important thing. But like I said, There are differences and losses. A loss last night for the Ravens would have been catastrophic. A loss last night for the Browns, it was nothing. If anything, big picture, the Browns won big picture last night. Big picture, Baker Mayfield proved to every hater out there, to even his front office, to his coach, to everybody, that he can go up against a dominant offense and lead his team to have a chance to win towards the end of the game. Last night, whoever had the ball last was going to win that game. I told you earlier today, Kev, that my biggest frustration is that Baker's biggest mistake last night was not that interception that was almost a pick six that you might as well basically categorize as a pick six because they scored, off the one. That was not his biggest mistake last night. I was joking around saying that the biggest mistake that Baker Mayfield made last night was scoring with a minute and 4 seconds left. I was actually probably the only angry Browns fan at the end of last night's game that Cleveland scored. I was like, no, you left a minute and 4 left. This defense is so trash. I do not want it. And then sure enough, the storybook ending for the Ravens at least. But to sum up, your mic's off, by the way. But to sum up, every loss has there is weighted losses. And the loss last night for the Browns wasn't heavy at all. It's unfortunate, but I tell you what, there have been wins this year that didn't feel good for the Browns because they won 10-7 and the offense was embarrassing. We know the Browns defense is bad. And, the score being so low was a result of the other team just not being good offensively. There have been wins this year for Browns fans where we just haven't felt good about it. Like, okay, cool, win's a win. We don't feel good about it. Like last night's loss, I know this might be a loser mentality, but you know what? I feel pretty damn good about what we saw last night because I have now all the confidence in the world that this Browns team can go up against any team in the National Football League and compete and have a chance to win. Baker Mayfield last night, Kev, threw for 343 yards. He had 3 total touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground. He did throw an interception. The only other quarterback that has thrown for over 300 yards this year against that Ravens defense is Patrick Mahomes. Every other quarterback has been held well under 300. Every other quarterback has struggled. And Baker Mayfield last night, the only other quarterback that has had more success against that Ravens defense coming into last night was, of course, Patrick Mahomes. I'm telling you right now, I'm not being a homer. I don't care if you call it a loser mentality. The bottom line is last night Baker Mayfield proved that he can go up against top defenses and lead his team. He threw the ball over 40 times, Kev. We were worried about, okay, how much leash do you give Baker Mayfield? Oh, but he threw an interception. Yes, Patrick Mahomes throws interceptions too. In fact, that was Baker's first interception in 5 games. That's a really good defense. It was actually the number 5 passing defense going into last night. They dropped out of the top 10. That's how bad the Browns and Baker Mayfield beat up that passing defense last night. The Ravens dropped out of the top 10 in passing defense. That's how much of an ass kicking the Browns offense put on the Ravens defense. But the problem is if there's anything that's more of a joke in the National Football League than the Cincinnati Bengals, it is actually the Cleveland Browns defense. That was atrocious.
One of the great things about our show is we don't talk about what's going on. Like, a lot of people text messages throughout games. You and I don't do that. We send each other like topics for the show and everything like that. But
no, because I'm like, Kev's rolling his eyes. I know Kev. Yeah.
We never communicate how we're feeling about a game that we're going to be talking about on the show. So every time we talk, it's right here, right now. It's live reaction. This is nothing scripted, everything like that. I'll say this. The game was excellent. For a person that has zero rooting interest in the game, I'm not a Ravens fan. I'm not a Browns fan. I'm just a fan of good football. That was great football. That was highly entertaining. I was locked in from kickoff. My wife is a huge Browns fan, and she's biting her nails. She's pacing and everything like that. Like when the score got like 34-20, she was like, oh, no, this is where it happens, isn't it? I'm like, what? Where he throws an interception and they return it and everything like that. I was like, it's not over yet. I mean, like, they've been moving the ball and boom, they go down and score. Next thing you know, Lamar's not coming out and Lamar still doesn't come out. And I'm like, well, if they got Trace McShorty, I call him I've been calling him McShorty for so long, disrespecting him. I forgot he was in the NFL, but he gets in the game and I'm thinking like, oh, well, shoot, he's in the game. If Lamar's not coming back, the Browns are going to win this game without a doubt. And when he came out the tunnel and came back in the game, converted that 4th down, man, for a touchdown to Hollywood Brown, who had like 3 drops on the night. My mouth hit the floor, man. I'm like, yo, like this is video game stuff. This is literally video game stuff. And not only that,
A quarterback who can't throw a football is not video game stuff, by the way, but continue.
Okay. You and I differ about that.
He can't throw a football.
I never mind. We'll talk about that later. Him going down there converting, but not only that, them panning to Baker Mayfield, him nodding his head like, okay, it's my turn. And not only do they go back down and score and tie the game up, it was through the air, and Stefanski's in his bag. Like, he's super in his bag. He was in his zone play calling and creating plays for, Hollywood Brown and putting Baker Mayfield in great positions to pass the ball. And, I know a lot of people out there like, oh, he's going to make that mistake. He did make a mistake. People talk about that interception. I don't call that a mistake. I call that a linebacker making a play. He didn't see him. It was buzz coverage. Anybody knows anything about football, buzz coverage is you bluff the blitz. He bluffed the blitz. He buzzed underneath. Made a great one-handed interception. It wasn't like he threw it right to him. That was a great play by the linebacker. You got to give credit where credit is due. So I really don't look at that as a bad thing. I mean, that's football. So for him to shake that off, to bring them back, and then, like you said, with the Ravens having 1 minute on the clock and they able to convert and go down there and put themselves in position to kick the game-winning field goal. Granted, you probably got the second best kicker ever in football kicking the football. I mean, he had a 55-yard bomb on a turf that people were slipping on all night. Well, at least the Ravens players were slipping on all night long. He kicked a bomb for the game winner. And I was talking to my brother about this game. I was like, one of the things that makes Lamar so unique is through the first half, he was killing with his legs, but on the last two drives, he killed with his arm. So those growths and steps that are being taken not only by Baker, but by Lamar as well, the AFC North is in good hands because obviously Big Ben is on his way out. But these quarterbacks like Mayfield and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, they're just coming to the league. So the AFC North, if you're one of those, I'm an AFC North guy. This conference or this division is in good hands.
All right, 457-9464 last night. Again, just instant reaction. It was an instant classic. It was the best Monday Night Football game I have seen, even with my team losing. It's the best Monday Night Football game that I have seen since that Kansas City and Rams game from a few years ago, and just the shootout between Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes. It was basically Big 12 football that night, and it was kind of like that last night, but it was just two different style quarterbacks, two different style offenses. By the way, Dean McDonald says, nice job, Kenner. You have Kev on the Browns bandwagon now. Time to get into sales. I wasn't sales. I wasn't good at sales. I wasn't good at sales. I was not good at sales. So,
and trust me, I'm not on the bandwagon. I just call it how I see it. I'm not a person that's just going to hate on somebody just because they're not my team. I watch football. I call it how I see it. Like, I see that Baker Mayfield, if you're saying that Baker Mayfield isn't playing good football, you don't know football. Plain and simple.
I can't think of a time. I've seen quarterbacks who have progressively gotten better from season to season. Have you ever seen a quarterback? And maybe Baker's had this in him all year, but Stefanski's had his thumb on it just to gradually, to kind of give him more rope each week, to give him more responsibility each week. I can't think of a time where a quarterback came in with this much pressure and has actually excelled past it. And he's getting better as the season goes on. For everyone that said, he couldn't win the big game, he couldn't play in the big game. Now, they did not win last night, but they didn't lose last night because of him. In fact, there's not many times where a quarterback is going to do what he did last night against a top 5 defense and lose a game. But that's how bad the Browns are defensively. And folks, don't give me the I'm making an excuse thing. Don't give me that, because you know what? I hate when people say, that's just an excuse. Whenever there is an actual reason that debunks the actual reason that they lose, people try to wash that away. They try to water it down. But it's like, that's just an excuse. Next, why else do they? No, that's why they lost. It's very simple. It is very simple why the Browns lost last night. The last 2 weeks, we have waited for the Browns to implode. We have waited for Baker Mayfield to have that mistake where he has that snowball effect. In fact, I was waiting last night. I wasn't happy he threw the interception. I was pissed because of where he threw the interception. I'm like, he could throw an interception. That's fine. It's going to happen. But the timing of the game, where you are on the field, the Browns, it was 28-20. They score, especially the importance of going down double digits for 2 possessions after, the Ravens come out right out of the half and score and go up 2 possessions. I'm like, oh, man, here we go. This is a dangerous part of the game. It's about to unravel here. And then Baker throws an interception. I'm like, oh, man. Or actually, made it 28-20. He throws the interception. They had a chance to go down the field and tie it, or at least come within one. He throws that pick, and then it's back to a 2-possession game. And I'm like, oh man, here we go. The old Browns, Kev, the old Baker Mayfield. Let's just go back a few weeks ago to the Steelers game. Baker Mayfield unravels. When Baker Mayfield throws interceptions, when he turns it over, when things don't go well, he unravels. And he has not shown the ability to be able to mentally rebound and come back. Last night, he did that. Last night, he was able to do that. Last night, after the interception, his numbers were actually better after the interception. He got better after the interception. And they, Chubb and Kareem Hunt played a huge role in last night's game too. Don't get me wrong. They don't win that game without those guys either. But the difference between the Browns team right now and the Browns team to start is the run game has been the one constant all year, Kev. But what has now elevated them from just being a good one-dimensional offensive team to being probably the second most explosive offensive team in football. If that's it, and you can roll your eyes at that. I'm trying to counter.
I didn't even say anything.
If this is the
you
Baker
are on defensive mode when I've been agreeing with you the whole show. Goodness.
I got PTSD from social media today because the Browns. I told you yesterday, if you are a Browns hater or a Baker Mayfield hater, it was going to be a bad night for you. Well, the Browns haters got a good chuckle, and that's fair. Baker Mayfield haters, they're doing everything that they possibly can to try to water down what he did last night, and I credit you for not going there. You know, whatever. But let me ask you this: if that's the Baker Mayfield moving forward, they're the second best offense in the National Football League behind the Chiefs right now. Not the second best team, folks. I'm not that delusional. That defense is so bad. That's why I can't go. I can't trust the Browns to advance in the playoffs. That's how bad that defense is. But if that damn defense or offense just had a tiny little bit of an actual NFL defense, they're pretty damn good. They're very good. And they're way better than what I would have even thought they would have been even a few weeks ago. But the difference is Baker Mayfield, Kev, like it's the only difference in this team right now. The run game's been there since the very beginning. The only difference is now Baker Mayfield all of a sudden just gets it. For whatever reason, it's clicked. And Stefanski, man, he's the freaking bomb. I've never, it sounds weird. I love watching him coach. When they pan over to him, he just has these dead eyes, man. Like, and you could tell, like, he is just sent in like the annexation of Puerto Rico, man. Like, he just drew up the best play. He can't wait. Like, he just has these dead eyes, man, when they pan over to him on the sideline. He literally picked apart between his play calling and Baker executing it. They picked apart that Ravens defense last night. They literally picked it apart. And it was just a chess match between the two. Both sides. Harbaugh's a great coach. They have a great defensive coach there as well. It was just that was a good old-fashioned AFC North battle, maybe more high-scoring than what you're used to out of the AFC North, but still, it was just a good old-fashioned AFC North battle. We act like it was an aired-out game last night. There was 9 rushing touchdowns on the night. Baker had 1. We saw Kareem with a few. We saw Chubb with a few. Lamar had quite a few. All right, the J.K. Dobbins got in on the fun at the end. It was technically an old-school AFC North battle. It was a lot of run and gun, but it was also a lot of through the air too. And Baker Mayfield is the difference in that. He adds that element.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, the game was great. I really look back to how the game ended with the Browns and Bengals, where both quarterbacks played outstanding and kind of basically whoever had the ball last was going to win. And in that case, the Browns had the ball last and they converted their touchdown and the Bengals lost. And in this case, Lamar had it last and he was able to put his team in position to win the football game. It was an outstanding game. There was no gripes on my behalf. I was highly entertained for being not a fan of either team. I was just there to enjoy it and eat my popcorn.
Yeah, keep in mind, too, one more thing about that Baker interception. Only his 8th interception of the season. He threw over 20 of those babies last year. And again, just, that's what we were hoping, down the road, if a good coach gets a hold of Jameis Winston, you could potentially see that kind of, improvement as well, because that was Jameis's big deal last year, was turning the ball over. But one more time, just to ask you this, Kev, I can't think of the last time a quarterback has improved this much in the middle of a season. We've seen quarterbacks go from where they are one season to improving from one season to the next, but I can't think of another example of a quarterback that just turned it on. Baker wasn't good to start the year.
Right.
He wasn't good against the Ravens the first week. He wasn't good against the Raiders. That was just not too far off. He wasn't good against the Steelers. He was not good a month ago, and now all of a sudden he's good. I've never seen something like this in the middle of the year. I'm not being a homer. I'm being serious. I've never seen something click like this, and he's done it against 2 good teams. It's not like the stretch you got the Jets and Giants coming up, and if he does have success against them, it's going to be credible because he started this run the last few weeks, against the Jaguars, against the Titans, now against the Ravens, one of the best pass defenses in the league. He keeps this going. who knows how far this team can go, but the defense is going to be what stifles it.
For me, I've only personally counted him having 2 bad games. I really don't count those games that was versus the Raiders and versus the Texans. I know you and I differ on that because of the weather and how the weather was playing a major factor in those games. And you could tell the weather played a major factor in those games because the other quarterbacks didn't do anything either. So I really don't put those games like, oh, man, he had a bad game on him. I mean, this goes back to, when they played against the Bengals the first time. He had a good game against them. Obviously had a good game against when they played the Cowboys. I know everybody was highlighted from the splash plays that OBJ had with the ending around and the bomb from Landry and everything like that. But in between there, Baker also had a good game. So you also got to give him a lot of credit for that. Like, he's definitely coming into his own. And that's something that I always try to preach is, we expect these guys to come out of college and be Dan Marino. You got to be Dan Marino. You got to be John Elway. You got to be Tom Brady off the rip. It don't work like that. Like, we got to give these dudes time to adjust to the NFL game. And not only this season, they didn't have the same training camp that they normally had. So I would expect a lot of guys that are in new systems to progress and to get better throughout the season. That's what you would hope. And he's taking full advantage of that. He's taking full advantage of a great head coach calling great plays, and he's capitalizing on his opportunity. So when I talk about Baker Mayfield and the Browns, with this extension, the 5th-year option and all like that, I never said that, oh, man, they shouldn't give it to him. I've never said after a good game, they should give it to him. I've always thought that they should reevaluate at the end of the season.
I thought they should trade him. Remember? Not even a month ago, trade Baker Mayfield. That was me.
Now, I will say it is trending in Baker's direction. Like, all right, they might need to start drafting up the paperwork. But, I just always thought like, hey, we'll play out the season, see how the season goes. I wouldn't get too over my skis about it. Let's stay pat with what they're doing. And I think their front office and Coach Stefanski, they have a plan in place. And I'm sure they got all types of graphs and charts and numbers to show what he's doing and what he ain't doing and all that type of stuff to justify things. So, yeah, Baker's balling. There's no question about it. And I'm not a hater. So you can definitely tell that he's balling. Like, if you're a hater of the Browns or a hater of Baker Mayfield and you don't see that they're playing great on offense and he's definitely a key cog in the wheel, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I just don't view sports that way. I don't view sports in a like, oh, if you're not on my team, I don't like you. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if a dude's balling on another team. All I do is care about is my team and being entertained when I'm watching another team.
All right, it's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash. We're going to get to the phones on the other side of this break. For those on hold, I promise you are first priority.
Charlie's on hold. He wants a piece of you.
I'm definitely making Charlie wait. Charlie, because you're going to come in and rain on my parade. I can't believe I'm saying this. I act like the Browns won last night. The Browns lost.
How much money did you lose?
The Browns lost. No, I won. I bet $25 total, just sprinkled throughout. And I finished the night with $67. So that's pretty good. No, I'm limited spender. When I'm a big spender, things don't go well. Like, I really get ticked because if I bet big, nothing happens. But when I start sprinkling a few here, a few there, that's when I always win those. And I'm again angry when I win certain bets because I'm like, oh, I knew I should have put more on that one. Oh man. But what a night. I know, so Browns fans, I'm not alone in this. Did the result of last night's game, we knew heading into last night, the big step we needed to see the Browns take was, yes, beating a good team. They beat the Titans last week. They beat the Colts. They beat the Titans. The next step was the division foe. But the problem is okay, we wanted them to beat the Ravens. I wanted them to beat the Ravens. By the way, I think they're capable of beating the Ravens. If there's even an average defense on the Browns side, they win that game last night. Like Lamar, everyone's like, oh my gosh, he's Superman. The receiver he threw it to was wide the F open. It's not like he made something happen. Lamar Jackson is not a good NFL quarterback. He is a freak athlete. You can't stop him. You literally can't stop him. But you know what? He's a running back then. He's not a quarterback, period. So, I mean, seriously, we got to stop this. Last night, everyone's like, oh, he outperformed Baker Mayfield. He won the game, so of course you're going to say that. But the better quarterback last night was Baker Mayfield, no questions asked. So I don't want to hear that. He has the MVP on his side. He got rewarded for his contributions early, but I'm over Lamar Jackson. And then he takes a 20-minute poop break, so damn dramatic. Willis Reed. I met Willis Reed. I met the real Willis Reed when he was here in Dayton a few years ago. I respect Willis Reed. I don't respect Lamar Jackson. And damn poop break. How are you going to sit there and lie to people and say you had a cramp? If you have a cramp, you're not making it on your own to the locker room. You're not running to the locker room with the cramp. It's not cramp, it's crap. You had to crap. You had to go and take care of business. More power to you. But stop with this Superman stuff. None of that. None of that. And I don't even know why you're trying to defend it. He is not a good quarterback. He is a great athlete. He is not a good quarterback, period. He is not. No, I will never even entertain that argument moving forward.
So last time we had this discussion, you didn't even know that he led the league in passing touchdowns last
Yes,
year.
And then also Byers also pointed out, because he was listening that day, he goes, yeah, and go look. He was also like towards the bottom of the league in passing yards. Threw a lot of touchdowns. Didn't throw for a lot of yards.
So you got to throw for a lot of yards to be a good quarterback?
I kind of like my quarterback to throw.
He can throw.
Oh, he can he?
Yeah.
He can. He can.
I think he proved that. I think he proved that all last season.
He proved that he can run last season.
I think
long term. Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson. The evolution.
Lamar Jackson.
No, you're wrong.
Oh, God,
the
evolution of the game, man. It's an evolution of the game. I can't be stuck in the past and say, oh, man, I need my quarterback to be 6'5", a strapping, tall quarterback that sees over the defense. Then we would never have quarterbacks.
You can't even trust his bowel movements.
Then we would never have quarterbacks like a Baker Mayfield, like Russell Wilson. If you were sticking to these quote-unquote standards to say, like, oh, man, you got to be X, Y, and Z, then you would never have these quarterbacks in the NFL. The evolution of the game, man. The evolution. He's part of the evolution of the game to have mobile quarterbacks that can get outside the pocket. Yes, there's a position still for the statuesque quarterback, but this game is moving forward, and being able to move in the pocket is one of those things.
Schultz says Baker had more playing time, and Lamar did not outplay him. He didn't. He had a great game, like running the ball, but that's fine. I need my quarterback to throw.
He threw on the last drive to set him up.
People act like he just zipped this pass in there to where no other quarterback in the league could do it. The guy I could have completed that pass.
I'm talking about on the last drive. The last field goal.
Yeah, wide open. Both guys were wide open. I have the highlights right here. He's literally wide open.
He was not wide open. Which one are you talking about?
Both receivers were wide open.
Who was wide open?
I don't know the damn receiver's name. It didn't matter. I could have been the receiver standing there. I would have been wide open against that Browns team. The Browns defense is garbage. It is straight atrocious. Lamar wasn't doing that against Pittsburgh. All right. No, he wasn't doing it because that's a good defense. Lamar ain't do that's why Lamar gets knocked out in the first round every year. Because he can't pass the ball. In the playoffs, you need to be able to pay. You need to be able to run the ball, but you need your quarterback to make plays. That's why Lamar's been knocked out of the playoffs the last 2 years. He's going to be knocked out again. I think I hate the Ravens more than any other team in the AFC North right now. And that includes the Bengals. You know what? I love Joe Burrow. I might even wear a Bengals jersey every day. When I come back from my little hiatus here, I'm going to wear a Bengals jersey. I am protest of the Ravens. I hate the Baltimore Ravens. I can't stand Lamar Jackson. I can't stand Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson, he's Superman. Man, fly your ass away. You weren't Superman last night.
Man, I don't know what you was watching.
I was watching the game that had one quarterback actually doing his job of throwing the ball, and the other one couldn't do a damn thing except run. But you know what? That's why the Browns have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They run, Baker passes, they have the better offense. And all the Ravens they had the ball last. We'll be back in a moment.
So when I said that about the Browns having the ball last versus the Bengals, you ridiculed me.
No, the way both defenses played that game. On what aspect? Hold on, let's reset.
When I said that the Browns had the ball last versus the Bengals and that epic duel that him and Burrow had, you said, "Oh well." So how come it's not then?
Hold on. What does "oh well" mean?
Those are your words.
What does "oh well" mean? What I mean, if you said the Browns only beat the Bengals that week,
I didn't say
they had the ball last.
I said,
"Oh well."
I said the Browns beat the Bengals because it was looking like the team that was going to have the ball last, and that's what happened this week. So why is it any different this week?
For one, the Ravens have a good defense, so it's more impressive that the Browns did it against that defense. And two, I don't know why you're taking that as me saying that's about. I'm saying, oh well, the Browns had it last, they won. And let's be honest, I was embarrassed the fact that the Bengals were moving the ball up and down the field on the Browns. But then here we are heading into week 15. The Browns defense is embarrassing. I mean, Zach Taylor's watching the game last night saying, man, this defense is pretty good. I wish we could trade defenses. I'll take this Browns defense any day. Oh, man. Eric Pugh says, nonsense. Baker had the wide open receiver all night. Lamar made several. Again, for one, the wide receivers were not open all night. In fact, early on, Baker was trying to go down the field and, man coverage. Ravens weren't having it. Started doing crossing patterns. They started mixing it up. It was Stefanski's play calling that really opened up that game. And no, yes, there were some wide open catches for the Browns, but ultimately Baker was throwing on the run, which is difficult to do. He's accurate on the run. And again, it's against the number 5 passing defense in the National Football League. Baker did it against. Lamar did it against the Browns. Half our local high school football teams here can score on this Browns defense. We'll be back in a moment. Kev, you got to cut me off. You got to make.
No, you're on a roll, man. You fired up today, man. You attacking me, and I didn't even do nothing to you, man. You acted like you acted like this was the Steelers Browns game, man. I didn't do nothing to you, man.
We'll be back in a moment. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
Love you, man.
Go to break.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with a high near 35. Tonight's going to be cloudy with a chance of snow, a low around 28. And tomorrow is going to be cloudy with snow, a high near 34. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Just close your eyes.
Boo, you already got me an iPhone SE from Cricket.
Okay. Open.
A caribou.
It's a reindeer, dear.
In North America, it's called a caribou, boo.
No way.
Well, I love my new iPhone SE and my new caribou. What's it?
It's caribou.
Get the iPhone SE for $49.99 when you switch. Smile. You're on Cricket.
Ends 1721. Excludes upgrades and AT&T ports. Limit 2 phones per customer. Activation fee $25 per line and additional one-time fees. $4 customer assistance fee may apply subject to change.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Give the gift of a Dayton tradition. Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps. Milano's gift cards are the perfect way to give good times and those favorite subs and pizza to family and friends. Right now, for each $25 Milano's gift card you buy, you'll get $5 more free.
Mrs. Claus here. I used to shop online. Now I save money by getting fun and exciting gifts from a locally owned small business that beats Amazon. Where? At the Hobby Shop near the Dayton Mall. The Hobby Shop has the hottest radio-controlled cars and trucks by Axial and the coolest radio-controlled boats from Pro Boat. Keep your money local and save over the big guys by going to the Hobby Shop. The Hobby Shop, a quarter mile north of the Dayton Mall, directly across the street from Lowe's, next to Ollie's. For your safety in these COVID times, the Hobby Shop offers curbside pickup. Call 937-436-6161.
For official contest rules, go to wingam.com and click on contests.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
You have empty office space to fill. You know what you need, and you know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places that what you need and what you'd like, that might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half price and below manufacturer's suggested prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection? from budget to the best. Really. Desks from $50 to $5,000. File cabinets, $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Outlet. With 87,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet, 2 locations, one at 23 McOil Street, Dayton, the other Uniques Unlimited on South Dixie. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 4.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 Special Financial Relief Assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
At Milano's, we make the food that brings friends and family together. Invite Milano's to your party with easy online ordering, fast delivery, our quick pickup carryout station, and full catering menu. Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps. Celebrate the season.
What's in store this holiday at your local Staples?
Missile Toner and Ink Nog.
'Tis the season to save big on ink and toner at Staples.
Right now, get 30% back in Staples Rewards when you spend $75 on ink or $175 on toner.
Shop in store or pick up curbside.
Give your printer the gift of ink or toner this holiday and receive 30% back in Staples Rewards.
In store only. Ends 12/26. Curbside available in most stores. Restrictions apply. See store or staples.com/30 in rewards for details.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
On any day in December, Pizza Hut can give to you the Triple Treat Box, 2 pizzas, breadsticks, and Cinnabon mini rolls. Order online at pizzahut.com. No Without Pizzas the Hut. Exclusions apply. Combinability of discounts, specials, prices, and participation vary. Additional charge for extra toppings and crust.
This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Listen, stream, and now watch. Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here, opening up with reaction. The Browns lose last night in the classic Monday Night Football matchup, an AFC North battle. Browns go down at the hands of the Ravens 47-42. Technically, it was 45-42, but, of course, the Browns had that really little safety there to close it out. I hate that. I was like, you're embarrassing yourself. Just go down.
The band is on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I wish the band was on the field. Knock down that ball. Stop giving up points. I almost did bet on the final spread, and I'm glad I didn't. The Ravens ended up covering, and I would have been pretty ticked had I done that. So,
Vegas knows, man. Vegas knows.
Vegas does not know, apparently, because I guess that little play at the end, it cost bettors millions and millions of dollars. It says, the safety that safety to close it out again. The Ravens, covered originally at where they were supposed to,
right.
3-point favorite. But it says one bettor's bad beat is another's fortunate win. The last play of the Monday night thriller between the Ravens and Browns produced both. A desperation multilateral play by the Browns this time expired resulted in a safety. But it goes on to talk about, just how much money was truly lost in last night's game, with that final outcome being what it was. But, We went to 3.5. In the last 2 hours, the book, we took significant money on the Browns. According to this bettor that called in, of course, to Scott Van Pelt, says we went to 3.5. And then, of course, we all know what happened there to close it. So what a mess. But no, last night, everyone's like, man, I feel bad for you. I'm sorry that the Browns lost. Don't be sorry. I felt pretty good. Overall, big picture. The Browns last night have an even bigger identity moving forward. Their identity before was their run team, limited pass. Their passing game's not that great. Now, if this is who they are moving forward, and we've seen 3 great games from Baker Mayfield, if this is who they are moving forward, now they are a well-rounded offense. They're the most well-rounded offense in the AFC North right now. They are the most complete offense. You have a quarterback that could throw. You have 2 great running backs in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. You have the best offensive line. You have a great, core of wide receivers. They are the best overall offense in the AFC North right now, and that's the difference. Because, Kev, to your point earlier, it's like it was fun. If that's what their identity is, just run the ball. Baker throws it limited. Mm-hmm. My biggest frustration is I'm a big picture guy. I'm like, okay, can you win games that way? Yes. Can you win the games that matter that way? No. The reason the Browns got blown out all the way back in week 1 is because that's who they were. They weren't going to throw the ball a lot. Now, he did throw a lot because they were down early or whatever, but the goal was to not let Baker throw the ball early in the season. It was going to be a heavy run attack, and that's what we saw. And it was boring, but it got the job done. But I kept saying, hey, when you face those good teams, when you have to get in a shootout, the Browns aren't winning. My opinion's totally changed on that. They are the most complete, well-rounded offense in the AFC North right now. And outside of the Chiefs' offense in the AFC, I think they're the second best overall offense in the AFC right now. Some people were spitting out things a little bit ago about the Packers. But Buffalo, the Browns' run game is what elevates them. So if this is who Baker is, he matches the play of Josh Allen, so they cancel out. Then you go down to comparing run games. That's where the Browns take the advantage there. Plus, their O-line's better than the Bills. I don't know if Willis, how significant that injury was last night. Keep in mind, short week playing on Monday Night Football. You got to play Sunday night now. So that could be a big deal. Trotter, they've been without him. So we'll see how that offensive line looks moving forward. But let's go to the phones, 457-9464. We got Charlie, correct?
Yes, sir.
Charlie, I made you hold a little bit. You better be good.
Baker Mayfield is garbage.
Oh, okay. We're starting out intelligent, I see. Okay.
The Cleveland Browns are garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kev, I don't know why you're letting him off the hook so easy.
Do tell.
Okay, now you guys are a little bit younger than me.
Well, you're being serious right now. Like you have this serious tone. Like I think you're being serious right now, right? Like you truly believe what you're saying.
All right, now listen. I know you guys are a little bit younger than me, a little bit, but I know both of you probably played a video game called NFL Blitz.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know right before the game how you can type in a little cheat code?
Yeah.
And it does goofy stuff, like makes the guy's heads big or whatever. It seemed like the Browns somehow typed in a cheat code to where Lamar Jackson had to wear tennis shoes. Because he flipped all over the field, like what? And then on top of that, you got another cheat code where he didn't play for an entire quarter.
Mm-hmm. And
you're trying to tell me that this was a close game?
It was a very close game. Lamar Jackson. The first offensive drive that the Ravens had without Lamar Jackson, Charlie, wrap this around your little pea-sized brain. It was 34-28. That is not a blowout. The game was not out of hand. The Browns were fine. It was within one possession. They were fine.
So Lamar Jackson was not on the field and the Browns scored to make it 34-28. So it was a 13-point.
Hold on, what defensive position does Lamar play? Does he play safety? Does he play quarterback? Is he a linebacker?
He doesn't play quarterback.
Not very well. Not very well. But I'm pretty sure he plays that better than defense. I did not bring anything on myself. The Browns looked fine last night from an offensive standpoint. That's what we really grade the Browns on right now. Offense. Everyone watches the Browns.
Lamar Jackson didn't leave the game.
What?
They would have lost by 30 points.
How do you figure? I know you have hater goggles on, so that's how you figure. But, I mean, if there's any intelligent analysis to go with it, I'll buy into it more.
You took the NFL MVP, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, out of the game for almost the whole quarter.
So he took himself out of the game. He literally had like just over 100 passing yards. He wasn't doing anything. And by the way, the Browns had made the Ravens punt on 2 of the last 4 possessions anyway. So it's not like they were just totally unstoppable. So let's stop with that mess. It was not going to be a blowout. Give me a break.
The Ravens were beating you so bad that Lamar Jackson figured he could take a poop break and still win.
I don't know what was worse.
They did.
I don't even know what the biggest pile of crap was. His play on the field at quarterback or what was in the bowl when he was having his cramps.
Crazy, Jeff.
I'm not crazy.
Crazy.
Okay.
You know what? I wasn't going to get too fired up, and then you started dogging Lamar Jackson. That is insane. And your quarterback is Baker Mayfield, and you're talking about Lamar Jackson being bad. Are you nuts?
You want to know what's driving you nuts right now? Is this Baker Mayfield right now? Like the way he's played the last 3 weeks and how I anticipated moving forward, he's the best quarterback in the AFC North right now.
You're insane.
I'm not. He is, like, overall as a quarterback, better than Lamar Jackson right now. Lamar's more exciting. I think people would love to capitalize with the athleticism of Lamar Jackson and what he could do with his legs. But I think if you ask any coach out there, they would feel more comfortable with a throwing quarterback, and that's what Baker brings to the table. Big Ben's not horrible, but he's not the Big Ben of old. He looks more like old Big Ben. He has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. And your guy, well, he's at home hurt. So I'm just saying.
I mean, the AFC North, the NFL in general seems like they're doing everything they can to try to get the Browns win big games, and it just doesn't work. I'm glad that Baker woke up feeling like a loser today, because he was. Most days I know he feels dangerous, but you know what? Lamar Jackson says nobody cares, work harder. That's why he won.
You think the Ravens feel better about where they're going moving forward than the Browns do right now?
I told you.
They don't. They don't. What did the Ravens prove last night? They narrowly escaped a Cleveland Browns team that offensively is better than theirs. And there's still concerns about Lamar as a quarterback. There is concerns about Lamar as a quarterback. That's not my opinion. I was watching these shows all day. I'm not crazy. I was watching these shows and listening to these shows all day. They also said the same thing. It was a great story, but Lamar Jackson, there's still a lot of question marks about this Ravens offense.
Colin Cowherd loves Lamar Jackson, by the way.
Colin Cowherd. Okay, that's fine. Give Colin a call. Give Colin a call. Give Uncle Colin a call. What? What'd you say?
I said he may be the smartest person in sports radio.
Now, I've learned about how this works. For one, the sports radio host that tells the certain listeners what they want to hear, that's how listeners figure out if you're good or not. When they start telling you things you don't want to hear, all of a sudden they're not intelligent. You're not intelligent based on what you saw last night and trying to call in to tell me that Baker's trash. I feel bad for you. You're a Bengals fan. That's why I feel bad for you. For one, you're a Bengals fan, so that's the first strike you have going against you. The second thing is your eyes literally watched that game last night, and the first words out of your mouth is Baker's trash. You have no idea. As a Bengals fan, you literally have zero idea what you're talking about when it comes to football. Zero.
Okay, 3 weeks ago, you said Baker was trash.
3 weeks ago, Baker was playing like trash. That's why I'm a credible radio host, because I when they play like crap, I say it. When they play well, I say it. I don't tell you that they're good no matter what. You were trying to tell me that your horrible Bengals team was good when they weren't winning, when they weren't doing a damn thing.
You beat us by a combined 8 points.
Again, defense. Defense is the problem. The defense has been the problem since the very beginning. I've been saying that.
All right. Okay. Well, you don't have a good quarterback, and that's a shame because your team is so good. You guys paid so much money for all these players. You have 2 number 1 running backs, 2 number 1 receivers, and you almost won. Great. They're not good. The Browns are not good. They might not even make the playoffs. I would be very concerned if I was a Browns fan today.
How's your team doing, by the way? How's your team? How's your team doing, by the way? Your team just got annihilated by Andy Dalton. Your team just got beat by an embarrassingly bad Cowboys fan. You're going to give me rip. You're going to give me crap about my 9-4 Browns, who literally lit out the number 5 passing defense in the league last night. You're really going to give me crap, really?
We're not talking about the Bengals right now because they didn't play last night.
The reason we're not talking about the Bengals is because they're not relevant, because they're not good. So when they are good, then
our star quarterback is hurt, and so we're not relevant. You're right.
You weren't winning games with him, so give me a break. Charlie, take care. Adios. You're annoying the hell out of me today, Charlie. You're usually better than that. I look forward when Charlie calls, even when he says blasphemous things. But blasphemous and foolish are 2 different things. He went the foolish route today. How you going to call in and say Baker is trash? Like, you want to make fun of the Browns for losing? Typical Browns. They found a way to lose last night. More power to you. That defense is embarrassingly bad. All right, but you know what? We saw Baker and that offense take that next step. That's all we needed to see from them. That's what I needed to see from them, because that's really what the test was last night for the Browns was, how's Baker going to look in prime time? Is he going to fold under the lights? All right, is he going to have a bad game against a really good defense like everyone expected? That wasn't the case. And that's what bothers people. It bothers all the people out there who've tried to convince everyone that Baker is trash, and he's not trash, and that is ticking people off. It's ticking people off, and it's angering him so bad. It's like, because it looked as if the Bengals were for you Bengals fans hating on Baker right now, it looked as if your guy was about to take over the AFC North, and now, not so much. Baker Mayfield's the best quarterback in the AFC North right now, and if he keeps it up, you're really going to hate my opinion after that here in a few weeks. 457-9464. We'll be back with more of your calls next. I'll be nicer to the next one. But Charlie, for those of you who are just tuning in and heard me be really mean to him, I'm not mean to everybody. Just Charlie. You'll learn. Charlie's he's cool. He's a little crazy. He's a little crazy. I'm crazy too, but Charlie's a little off the wall. Call it in and say Baker's trash. Let me ask you, Kev. Is Baker trash?
No, he's not trash.
Lamar trash though.
See, I'm a nice guy, man. I call it how I see it. You intentionally try to just annoy people. That's why people be at your neck, man.
But if me saying that Baker is good annoys people, that's just because they're haters.
You just called the MVP of the league trash.
I'm not. Listen, have you not heard all the criticism of Baker of Lamar this year?
What criticism?
Are you kidding?
What criticism? I'm asking a question.
He's not. For one, he makes plays with his legs. That's great. He can't make plays with his arms consistently enough to take this team to that next level.
And like I've been saying, and you know this 1,000%, I say you have to let people develop. People act like these people are shake and stir, and boom, you are the next coming of Joe Namath. Like, you have to develop. That's why they're playing games. That's why they're coached. Like, they're acting like he's supposed to be his ultimate peak right now. I never thought that.
The problem is when you regress, though, he's worse than he was a year ago.
He's worse, or the team is worse?
Their team's worse because he's worse. He's not making guys better.
I don't know about that. I mean,
no, I'm watching games. I'm watching it.
How many Ravens games have you watched this year?
They're on every damn week.
No, they're not on every week.
Every game that's on, I watch. And besides, for one, you could even strip it down to just box score searching, and you could strip it down to just listening to the analysis from other shows and from other network shows on him too. It's all the same thing, and it's all right there in front of you. He's been on primetime the last 3 weeks. I mean, he didn't look good against the Steelers.
Okay.
He hasn't looked good.
Who has looked good?
He didn't look good.
Who's looked good versus Steelers besides?
When you're the MVP?
Who's looked good versus Steelers besides old boy from Josh Allen?
When you're the MVP, it needs to be the MVP and Josh Allen looking good against the Steelers defense. Not Josh Allen.
He ain't MVP this year.
Because he's regressed. That's my point.
Man.
And then, and see that Eric Pusis, he did bring an interesting point that when Lamar left, it was 34-20. When Lamar, for one, Ravens score, Lamar leads them down the field. They score, it's 34-20. The Browns come right back. They make it 34-26, convert on the 2-point conversion. It's 34-28. That's when he had his poop attack. He leaves. People act like the 34-28 score when Lamar left the game. It was not 34-20 when he left. It was 34-28 because, to me, the impact of him leaving is not faced until he actually, the next time that McSorley had to step foot on the field. When McSorley or whatever his name is stepped foot on the field, that is the moment that Lamar was no longer in the game.
Good for him, by the way, being an NFL player. Never thought I would see that. Never thought I would see him in the NFL, but he's in the NFL cashing checks.
Over over the Buckeyes quarterbacks the last few years who have been actually Haskins had a big game this past weekend. I don't know if you saw that.
Probably
did Alex Smith get hurt?
Yeah, he got hurt again. Not hurt like he was before, thank goodness. But he got pretty banged up, so they're thinking he's going to be out. So looks like Dwayne Haskins has another chance to be the quarterback. They are also leading the NFC least. They're at 6-7 right now, looking to try to make the playoffs from that spot. And go ahead, Washington football team.
Justin, what did you think about the Browns going for 2? I was fine with it until he made me. Look, those plays are always, coaches are always aggressive, and they're smart, good coaches when the teams are converting. But when they went for it, down big early, and they were at the Ravens 40, or at their 40. I'm sorry, that worried me. You turn it over on downs right there. Lamar and the offense, who scored on back-to-back possessions, are taking over up big. Like that. That was when they were up 34-20, and the Browns went for it on 4th down at their own 40.
Landry on that square end, yeah.
So they were ballsy moves. They were ballsy decisions. But I give the Browns credit for converting.
Yeah, I give them a lot of credit for converting those 4th downs because the thing about it, they knew they were going for it. because you could tell they knew they were going for it because how fast they got the play call in.
Yeah.
They knew exactly what play they were going to be calling and if they were going for it on fourth down, and they were quick to the line, called the play, and boom. So when you know what you're going to be doing, I feel more confident about that. So that was a great play call, great execution by Baker and Landry to get that first down. Like I said, man, it was a great game, man.
All right, folks. And by the way, I have to clear this up. Lamar didn't even play against the Steelers. So it was RG3, remember?
Yeah, he did. He played the first game.
Oh, the first. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant too. Yeah, that's what I meant. Good save.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
But either way, Lamar was, and don't use COVID as an excuse. He was having a bad season before COVID.
COVID's real, by the way, just so you know.
I didn't say it wasn't real.
I'm messing with you, man.
But if you
are so defensive, bro.
If you're not feeling that great after COVID, don't play. Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. Don't play. 161 yards passing. Holy moly. Then he goes for a poop break. And then he feels a little bit lighter, and then he comes out and, whatever. All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Listening to this Allstate commercial about savings might be the hardest thing about getting those savings. Save for simply becoming an Allstate customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. Allstate. Minimum effort, maximum reward.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information appraisal and title report. Call for cost information and conditions equal housing lender license in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 33.
Money hooray, money for the holidays. Oh, what fun it could be with money for the holidays.
Need money for the holidays? Jackson Hewitt could help. Starting December 17th, come in and ask a Jackson Hewitt tax pro how you could get up to $700 fast with an early refund advance 0% APR loan by Metabank. All you need to get started is a pay stub or other proof of income. Learn how at jacksonhewitt.com. Terms apply.
No one likes going to the grocery store, especially during the holidays. That's why you need ButcherBox. ButcherBox ships high-quality meat right to your door. And they partner with folks who prioritize caring for animals, the environment, and sustainability. And listen up because you need to hear what I'm about to say. For a limited time, new members can get a free pack of bacon in every box for the life of their membership when they sign up at butcherbox.com/CJR. That's butcherbox.com/CJR. Go get that bacon.
And now another edition of Obvious News from Geico. A study says that soft talkers do not make great radio personalities. We asked local librarian Steve Sage about this, and here's what he said.
Honestly, I don't buy it. I think I make very captivating radio.
Also in Obvious News, Geico makes it easy to save money and easy to manage your policy with the Geico app. So switching is a really smart decision. How does Steve feel about this?
I love the Geico app. I use it all the time.
That's Obvious News from Geico.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen, as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. Available at AutoZone and AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Taking on that next oil change yourself is a great idea. We can help you get started. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $31.99. You can even get it all fast your way with our next day delivery or free same day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Allstate now has deeper savings, and deeper savings require deep thoughts and a deep voice, like mine. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise, and save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent for a quote today. As someone once said, saving today is money tomorrow. That's deep.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Mary's Bistro delivery business is bustling and ready to burst.
Orders 34, 35, and 36 are up. Who's handling these? Hello, Mary's Bistro, now delivering.
It's time to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. The moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Indeed delivers 2.5 times more hires than the other branded job sites combined, according to Breezy HR 2019. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first job post. Terms and conditions apply.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Get quality candidates delivered from Indeed's resume database immediately when you upgrade your job post. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. Don't miss the only weekly hour of radio dedicated to Dayton Flyers basketball. It's Talking Out Loud, hosted by Sully. Thursday nights at 6 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM, and online at wingam.com. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER, and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Hour 2, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. How about this? Chris Spielman has just been announced as the Detroit Lions' new full-time special assistant, whatever that means.
Once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye.
Then you go to Detroit.
That's who drafted him.
I know, but still, it's Detroit. I just thought it was interesting. But he's a special assistant to the chairman and president and CEO. So again, like the Lions are just that's a franchise that's just kind of swimming in mediocrity. I mean, they're one of those, when you think about the losing franchises in the NFL, the Browns, the Lions, the Bengals. I mean, all those teams. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and Bengals had that 5 straight playoff appearance stretch, early 2010s. So they've been winning in recent history. The Browns, they're having their opportunity now. Still a lot can happen in these coming weeks. But like they're like the Lions. When's the last time that they were relevant? Like you could say what you have, whatever opinion you want about the Browns, but they're very relevant right now. Like they're being flexed into prime time. They're featured on every single major network talk show out there. I mean, the Browns are very relevant right now. When's the last time the Lions were relevant at all? Outside of Lions legendary wide receiver retires. Lions legendary running back retires early. Outside of being known for taking all-time greats and making them want to quit the sport rather than continue playing. Other than that, what are the Lions known for? So
I think probably around the same time that the Bengals were making the playoffs, they had their run. They made the playoffs like in the early 2000s, I want to say, or mid 2000s. Like they made the playoffs like 3 straight years under Caldwell, and then they fired him and got this boob that they just fired. But they were never like double-digit wins. They were always like 9-7. I think they went 9-7 like 3 straight years and made the wild card spot. But they fired Caldwell and got that bum, and now they're bums again.
So, and just because, and people keep saying they need to hire Caldwell back. My thing is, Caldwell wasn't good either. I don't know why we sit here and act like, Caldwell should have kept his job too. Just because they were dumb and kept what's his name longer than they should have doesn't mean that they shouldn't have fired Caldwell when they did. I hate when people go into that. No, they weren't good. Like Caldwell wasn't doing it. Caldwell hasn't done it anywhere of significance to be able to act like, he did. I can't believe they fired him. I can't believe. I mean, holy smokes.
Well, I mean, it was definitely. They said in the press conference, they said Caldwell wasn't doing a good enough job, and he was 9-7. And then they hire somebody else who goes less than that and doesn't make the playoffs. Well, when you're in a situation where you're at least making the playoffs and at least winning games, and you go backwards with the personnel and the guys that you had. And Caldwell, I believe, didn't he lead them? Yeah, they went to the Super Bowl when he was the coach of the Colts.
I'm talking about the Lions, though.
I'm just saying, I mean, it's better than what they were doing beforehand.
But they felt they were going in a better direction. It doesn't mean they made the right decision. Okay. Like every organization feels like they're making the right decision. Right.
Okay, I got it.
But yeah, so Doug Morgan says, what is he the Dwight Schrute to the NFL, the assistant to the regional manager? Exactly. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Tim. Tim, thanks for holding. How are you, sir?
Hey, good. You know what? I was impressed with the Browns last night. I thought the Browns played great. They ran out of time. I mean, the Ravens played great, too. It was a great football game from a football fan's point of view, I always root for the Browns when they're playing the Ravens because of what Odell did many years ago. Yep. But I think Browns fans should be excited. And you guys have just gotten a little taste of what I've enjoyed for 30 years now. And that's every football game your team plays, you always feel, hey, we have a chance to win. Even in the fourth quarter, the Packers, Favre, Rodgers, once in a while you have a bad game. Maybe one a season, maybe one every couple of seasons. But every game, you have 3 hours of fun. Watching the game, you get frustrated when the other team scores, something doesn't go your way, but you still think all the way up until the end of the game, we've got a chance to win. It's just such a great feeling, and I've been enjoying it for 30 years. And Browns got a taste of that, and I think, frankly, you got more of it to come. But one thing about the Packers, I heard somebody mention about the Pack. I want people to remember, Aaron Rodgers has 39 touchdown passes this year and only 5 interceptions. That's 6 more touchdowns than Mahomes. That's 1 less interception than Mahomes. He's got a higher passer rating. He's got a higher QBR. He's got, I think, maybe just a little bit higher percentage completion. Aaron Rodgers is the MVP. And I want everybody listening to keep that in mind. I hear this Mahomes. He's going to play Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And it's going to be the All-State Super Bowl. And what's going to happen, too, is Mahomes is going to get the MVP. And that's just going to put a bigger chip on Aaron Rodgers' shoulder. You saw what happened last year. They drafted Jordan Love. What did he do? He said, boom, Danica Patrick, we're done. I got to concentrate. I'm going to take care of a lot of business now. And look what's happening. He's going to be the only person. He'll be the first person in the NFL history to have 3 seasons where he's thrown for 40 or more touchdowns. Brady didn't do it. Peyton didn't do it. Marino didn't do it. Someday maybe Mahomes will do it. But right now, nobody has had 3 seasons. That's hard to believe that they threw for 40 or more touchdowns in a season in the NFL. And Rodgers will do that this year. Hey, good luck with the Browns.
Oh, thank you.
Tim, are you a Packers fan? I'm assuming.
Since I was 7 years old, I got a picture of me wearing Jerry Kramer's helmet at St. Norbert's College for their preseason stuff back in 1967.
Nice.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Well, I've lived in Kettering since 1984. We've raised our family here, but I grew up in Toledo, but I had a lot of family in Green Bay.
Okay, that's fair.
So I had family with season tickets. I've been at Packer games that you wouldn't believe just by dumb sheer luck. Favre's first win in 1992. I mean, you don't know those things. Nobody wanted to see Brett Favre come in the game for Mikowski. We were all
the Magic Man Mikowski got hurt.
He did. He got hurt, and people were Terrell Buckley was the number 1 draft pick that year. It's the 3rd game of the season, and Buckley was holding out. And that wasn't like a cool thing in Green Bay. But his first punt return, he runs it in for a touchdown. That was big stuff. He also muffed a punt, but when Favre came in and threw that touchdown pass to Taylor, he threw it to Kittredge Taylor with about a minute and a half or so left in the game. And ever since then, man, it's just like you just feel like even when they had losing seasons, you feel like, hey, we ran out of time. We could have won that game, but you just enjoy all 3 hours of the football game. It's never halftime and I'm disgusted and, turn off the TV. You just want to hang in there because, you get some flashes or something. And I just thought the Browns, that was so entertaining last night. And I just felt, you know what, they ran out of time. If they would have played 5 more minutes, I think the Browns would have won. If they would have played 1 more quarter, I think the Browns would have won. So I just think they're on the right trajectory. And I think they're going to have 11 and maybe even 12 wins yet this year. So that's just my opinion.
No, and I appreciate it. And thank you for the call. And it's funny is I didn't even think about the fact that, Aaron Rodgers sitting there with 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I didn't realize he was like those numbers. Like I wasn't looking at the top like that, but holy smokes, 39 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Russell Wilson coming in 36. Now Russell Wilson had I think almost 20 touchdowns in the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season. Not 2 weeks, but it was I think he was at 16 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks of the season. It was insane. But he's coming in second with 36 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes with 33. He only has 5. Now Russell Wilson, the knock against him is the interceptions. Yeah. And that's why I laughed too. Like Baker went 5 games, Kev, without an interception. He threw one last night. And why is it? I mean, because Baker made a name for himself last year as the turnover king, and just, he was known for the turnovers. But it's like when Baker turns it over, the whole world just stops and points a finger at him and just says he's trash. We've seen multiple games this year where Russell Wilson has had multiple interception games, and it's, oh no, he's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He's a great quarterback. And he is a great quarterback. It just drives me nuts that last night. See, this is how I know the Baker Mayfield hatred is real, Kev. No one's called in to talk about how trash the defense is. That's what was bad. No one's called in to say that, the Browns looked bad last night. It was the defense looked bad last night. That offense went against the number 5 defense in the NFL.
That's fair.
And we literally have people calling in to rip Baker Mayfield. That is just pure it's just embarrassing jealousy / hatred / being a hater. I feel bad for these people. Only one other quarterback this year threw for over 300 yards against this Ravens defense, and it's Patrick Mahomes. I ain't saying Baker's Patrick Mahomes. I'm just saying a lot of good quarterbacks have faced this Ravens defense and haven't come close to looking as comfortable as Baker. Baker was comfortable, and he got rocked on a few times. Kev, he got hit hard on a few occasions, okay? And there was more than one time where the Ravens came at him, and he pops right back up, and he smiles. My favorite thing about Baker Mayfield is after a defender just lays him out and puts a good lick on him, he stands right back up, and he just glares and smiles at him. I love that. I love the toughness. I love the mental toughness of Baker Mayfield now, and how anyone can call in today and rip Baker Mayfield is beyond me. You want to call in and say Browns are trash because of that defense? I'll hold your hand and we'll walk down that street together. I'll give you that. I've been ripping that defense going back, weeks ago. That defense is horrible. That's why if you go back to that Bengals game when everyone was talking about how great Joe Burrow was and how bum Baker Mayfield was, saying, oh, well, Baker, I would hope he could do that against the Bengals defense. We're trash. Statistically, the Browns were worse than the Bengals defense. But when Joe Burrow, drove up and down the field against that defense, it was great. People hate Baker Mayfield, and it's fine, but I'm going to call it out. It's stupidity. It really is. Baker was fantastic last night, and I can't believe – I really did not think I was going to have to, shoo off people from Baker. I was expecting the Browns go until further notice the Cleveland Browns. No, not until further notice. They're still the Cleveland Browns. They did not look like your typical Browns team last night. They look like they belong. Yeah, I know, Kevin. The next thing is you got to start beating these division teams. Yes, they needed to beat the Ravens last night, and they had a great opportunity to do it. But you have to admit, in years past, and even through this Baker Mayfield run, they don't even look like they belong on the same field as the Ravens or the Steelers, right?
No, they blew the Ravens out last year.
Yeah, but that was when the Bengals beat the Titans this year. That was one of those, even I wasn't buying into the Browns beating
that was
the
early
Ravens
this season, though.
But no one was buying into that. That was the Ravens had a bad game, and the Browns continued to be trash after that. So that's my point.
I thought that made them Browns 1-1 last year.
That was week 3. It was early. I'm pretty sure that was early in the season, though. But that was still after the week 1 blowout loss against the Titans. The Browns had lost a few.
The Browns beat the Steelers.
But, okay, what you're saying, there was nothing good about that. Look, everyone knows it was an upset. You're trying to act like, the Browns put themselves on the map. The Browns, throughout this entire stretch, have never looked like they belong on the same field as the Ravens or the Steelers. They're never looked at as a threat. Last night, it wasn't one of those fluky, the Browns are hanging around. All right, the Browns are giving them the college try. No, the Browns went punch for punch with the Ravens. They looked like they belonged. That's the difference in last night's game, which is probably why I don't feel as bad about that loss. You always try to you always try to go out deep into every single. I'm telling you,
pointing out what happened.
Last night was I know what happened, but there's a lot that happens. The big narrative is that the Browns don't belong in the same field as those teams, and I always buy into. I believe it. It looks different, even if they have a good quarter or game. But last year, it didn't make them better. The hell, they lost to the Bengals down the stretch.
I'm just saying that the Browns blew out the Ravens last year, and they also beat the Steelers last year. So
when you had that little dumb, horrible, moronic, stupid-looking,
so what side of the fence are you on? Are you the Browns fan or am I the Browns fan?
No, what I am saying is I'm letting people know that I've not ever once tried to act like since Baker arrived that the Browns have just belonged on the national map with all the other great teams in the NFL. No. I mean, up until last night, the Browns never have looked like they can go punch for punch with an AFC North team. And yes, they beat the Ravens last year, but no one looked at that and said, the Browns are here. They're here. They're ready to take over. Last year, we knew that there was just something missing. We knew that something was off last year. But this year, Baker Mayfield, the confidence, the way he took it right to, there was something different. There was something different about last night. And the moment didn't seem too big for him. He embraced the challenge. Like, that's what I mean by them taking that next step. So that's what I enjoyed seeing last night. Kev, who we got?
We got McKinney on the line.
McKinney, welcome in. How are you, sir?
Tremendous. How are you guys doing this afternoon?
Good.
You know what? I like to talk about what I saw in last night's Cleveland Browns game. And it was a glaring thing to me that you can have the greatest quarterback in the world, but if you don't have the right combination of coach and quarterback, you are doomed. It is the difference that Baker Mayfield acted when he had a quarterback understanding what a quarterback does as his head coach. His quarterback coach now looks like he was so calm and cool. My boy was looking at that play sheet like he was looking at a Pizza Hut menu. He was calm. He wasn't upset about anything. Baker has a competent coach. He has a team that he trusts. He showed last night that if you have the right quarterback that calls and they call the right plays and they put you in the right situations, that you have a chance to win games. What the Cleveland Browns learned last night, that they are a team that has the ability to win games at the end. They now know what that feels like, what that tastes like, and going forward to the end of the season, this makes the Cleveland Browns one of the most dangerous teams in football right now. And I just love the game. And seeing what Zach Taylor is up to when he's got this quarterback, it was so glaring that you must get rid of Zach Taylor as quarterback. You saw what happened when they got rid of Jeff Fisher, and all of a sudden
he took off.
Jared Goff is a Super Bowl quarterback because you got rid of the coach before he had a chance to poison your talent. I believe if you go into year 2 with Joe Burrow and have Zach Taylor as quarterback, not only is he going to get you killed, he is going to ruin your career. What was the quarterback from Texas? Derek Carr's brother.
Oh, David Carr.
David Carr was an awesome quarterback that got destroyed because they didn't take care of business and doing what they needed to do to protect their franchise. The Indianapolis Colts ruined Andrew Luck by doing the exact same thing. When you have the right coach and the right quarterback, and they have this bond, Baker Mayfield made leaps and bounds in people's minds as being a quarterback that could go into the playoff and win games last night. I thought it was an exceptional game. and the Cleveland Browns showed the nation, the people that were watching this, they showed them that they were actually what they were doing. It was awesome.
Yeah, and again, if I'm getting the whole, so Kenner, you're into moral victory now. No, I'm not into moral victories. Look, the Browns lost last night because of defense and defense only. But it was one of those interesting games where we learned something about Baker Mayfield that we were wanting to know, because McKinney, last night the Browns could have lost a close one to the Ravens, and Baker could have had one of those games where he only threw for 24 times, threw for 194 yards and a touchdown and an interception, and I wouldn't have felt like we learned anything about Baker. It would have just been, a typical Baker game. He doesn't put his thumbprint on the result. But last night, it was a perfect combination of great quarterback play from Baker and mixed in with the great run game between Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. It was the overall best offensive game from the Browns, and this is coming a week after we saying the same thing about how they performed against the Titans last week. They're on to something. I think that this is – I don't expect Baker to throw for 340 every week, but I think he's going to be throwing in that 300-yard range now with touchdowns and leading the offense with his arm now. I think that's something exciting, a new dimension to the offense.
I think the offense now has confidence that he can do that. The number of things that they changed out, rolling him out 3 yards made such a difference in him getting crushed. There is something beautiful about when you watch pulling guard, tackle, and center set up that rolling pocket, and a guy just can look out over the field like he's looking at dandelions on a sunny day and figure out which one he's going to pick. It is just a beautiful thing to see when these guys lift their hand at the same time, and you get the big 300-pound boys. Can't wait to catch a 195-pound defensive back on that corner. Bring it, son. Bring it.
McKinney, always great hearing from you. You take care.
You guys have a great afternoon. Stay safe.
You too. I appreciate hearing from you, man. Stay safe as well. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. Your thoughts on that? Last night, I'm not a moral victory guy. It's I'm. You know what? I can't say that because I'm basically what I'm saying is that I am giving the moral victory excuse at this moment. I'm not looking at it I'm not saying, hey, I'm all about moral victories, but it's like last night when the narrative of Baker Mayfield not being able to play against teams like that he couldn't perform against teams like that he couldn't step up and live in that moment. He did. That's why I feel good about it. I feel good about where the team's going moving forward, and that's why I said to start the show, Kev. There are different levels of losses there, in weight. And last night, the Ravens, if they lost, that would have been a heavy loss. That would have really altered their season. Last night, nothing changed for the Browns. They didn't. They're still in second in the AFC North. All right, they're still 9-4. They're still, in the playoffs. They didn't lose their ranking as far as offense goes. So the bottom line is this team's fine. This team, last night, that loss didn't really hurt them. If anything, I feel like what they found out about Baker and the offense against the number 5 passing defense in the league, if anything, they're going to be better for it now moving forward. I feel like we learned a lot about Baker and the Browns last night, and that's what's driving people nuts because everyone out there that said he couldn't do it, he proved last night he couldn't. He's done it 3 straight weeks. Competition getting better and better each week, too.
I think the fans are more upset about the loss than the players are. The players are in a position where they understand, all right, we took a loss, but we're getting better as a team, and we're still exactly where we want to be. I think the fans of the Browns feel a certain way because they've been down for so long, and they look at this game versus the Ravens, especially as the litmus test of, are we back? You know what I'm saying? That whole thing about, early in the season when Texas had to win over a ranked opponent. Texas is back. Well, they're not back until you prove it throughout an entire season. And that's the same thing for the Browns. It's the thing that I always talk about is equity. You got to rebuild that equity. This isn't the 90s where they had a ton of equity where you felt all right, we're in every game. We have a chance to go to the playoffs every season. These are baby steps. And I told my one buddy who's a huge Browns fan, he was after the game, I don't know how to feel about this game. I was like, man, feel proud. Be happy that you had a chance to win the game. Y'all, just a couple years ago, you were 0-16. People want instant grits. It don't work like that. There's baby steps. Sports doesn't work like that. You don't go from 0-16 to the next year being a dominant franchise. All right, you were 0-16, then you were 7-9, then had a little step back last year. You now have a competent coach. Obviously, the Browns are going to make the playoffs this year. Now, next year, if something like this happens, then I would say, all right, fans got a right to be upset and right to be mad like that. But this year, this is house money right here. They're playing above what people expected them to do, outside of you, of course, Mr. 12-4.
No, I mean, right now, I wasn't expecting. I thought they could have got to 12-4 with playing that same boring style that they were playing just even a month ago. Now Baker has added a dimension to this offense that we didn't think. We were like, oh, Stefanski, if he can get that out of him moving forward, great. We're going to have ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz calling in here in a few moments. We have time for another. Well, let's get to another call, Kevin, if you don't mind. Who we got?
We got Nick.
Nick, what's up, Nick?
Hey, man, stop picking on Bengals fans. As Browns fans know our stuff.
No, you ready for my childish response? They started it. They started it. You guys started it. Bite me.
Did they start it or you went looking for it?
I mean, look, last night, time out. Every time Baker made a play last night, I was cussing out Charlie in my head. I was cussing out Schlapp in my head. I was cussing out Nick in my head. Everyone that's been hating on Baker over the years. Oh, yeah.
My hatred from Baker, it stems from the Buckeye guy. As a Browns fan, I don't care. I root for the Browns. Unfortunately, I'd rather see them over the Ravens and the Steelers because, again, as Bengals fans, we know that suffering, right? Here's what I'm going to say. Baker was good last night. He wasn't great. The pick.
How is he not great? How is he not great?
Let me point out, and then you'll see what I'm saying. The pick, that throw should have never been thrown. You got to eat that. The play at the end of the first half that gave Baltimore points the intentional grounding can't do that. So what I'm saying is he was good and he played very well. But those things to take that next step to talk about what you're talking about winning in the playoffs, right? They're a playoff team this year. They've done it. They've improved. You can see it. But Baker's going to have to not do those things at that next level. He can't throw that ball there with the linebacker.
He hasn't thrown an interception in 5 weeks. He hasn't thrown an interception in 5 weeks. And you act like, oh, they can't do that move. Do you realize there's not one perfect, as good as Patrick Mahomes is? You realize that he's not perfect either? Like, we hold Baker to this standard of like, oh, he can't make one tiny mistake or he's just not it. But other great quarterbacks make mistakes, and it's just no damn big deal. You're worse than the others.
Hold on. Baker doesn't have a cannon on his right arm. Patrick Mahomes makes that throw. That linebacker's not catching that ball.
First of all, that was a good defensive play. Baker should not have thrown an interception, yes, but that was a good defensive play. That's what the Ravens do.
But the guy was back in coverage. He wasn't this guy. He was already dropped back. Baker's got to either take that and run. He was good. I'm not saying he wasn't. But
he was great last night. Baker Mayfield was great last night. He threw for 3 touchdowns, 300-plus yards against the number 5 passing defense in the NFL. And you're calling it, oh, he was good. He was okay. Oh, my God, do you remember back when Joe Burrow threw for 300 yards against the Jaguars? Oh, my God, he was great. You guys are nuts.
I'm not.
All of you. I'm lumping you in with the rest of that foolish take.
You've been on Baker since day one, so don't say that you.
I have been on Baker since day one, and look who's right. Look who was right. Me. Look who was wrong. You.
I am not.
My God.
I'm giving construction criticism. I know you don't understand what that means. It's criticism, even though he was still good. You can be good and have areas to clean up. There were several throws that should have been picked yesterday. And
they weren't. And you have another quarterback who's an MVP that can't throw a ball.
But let me ask you a question, because you always say that you're a fan that points out the obvious.
Yep.
He should not have thrown that ball, correct?
You can say that about any quarterback that throws an interception.
I'm asking you because that's what your claim is.
What do you want me to say? Yes? Oh, yes. Please throw that ball to the other team, Baker. Good job, Baker. You know what the hell I mean. What?
He was good. He wasn't great. He made mistakes.
Every quarterback makes a mistake. No one's ever had like a complete perfect game where they've never even made one bad throw, one bad look off, one bad. There's no such thing. Patrick Mahomes, as great as he is, you can't go back and find one perfect game where he didn't make one tiny mistake and he got one.
He makes mistakes, the team still wins. Baker cost the Browns.
Baker did not cost this season. That defense. You, as all people, as a Bengals fan, should understand what a bad defense is. I'm pretty sure you could even relate to that.
Where was the ball at when the interception happened?
Where was the ball? It was a bad look. It was a bad. I know it was a bad interception. It was deep in their territory. He set him up, and it was nearly a pick six. He got knocked out on the one. Bottom line, if you're gonna, I mean, that's like saying, oh man, in basketball, someone gave up an easy layup in the third quarter or whatever, and that's what or in the first half, a UD player gives up an easy backdoor layup and they lose by 2. And oh man, he caught Jalen Crutcher gave up a backdoor pass for an easy layup in the first half. He cost them the game. They lost by 2.
Points off of turnovers. Justin.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Holy moly. You haters are unbelievable. Nick, I don't like doing this, but I'm cutting you off. Cut him off. Cut him off, Kev. You could be a Browns hater. Be mad at the Browns. Why haven't one of you genius constructive criticism people called in to rip the defense? That's what the actual problem was. Not the quarterback that threw for 300-plus yards, scored 3 total touchdowns against the number 5 passing defense in the NFL. He was not the problem last night. You guys are embarrassing yourselves. He was not the problem last night. The defense was. Not one of you have called in to say, oh, the defense, that was the problem last night. But every one of you call in to say, oh, man, Baker Mayfield, yeah, he lost a game for him. Give me a break. Give me a break. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash in the background because Kinner's talking too much and not letting Kev get a word in. But Kinner's fired up today. Kev, how could these people be calling in, ripping Baker Mayfield? How? Just explain it to me. Tell it to me. Explain it to me like I'm 5. Michael Scott reference.
Something else that I definitely want to pass on to the listeners. This just came out. Florida's forward, Keontae Johnson, who collapsed on Saturday's game, is now in stable condition, breathing on his own, speaking to it.
What the hell does that have to do with the Browns?
I'm just saying, like,
I'm glad he's breathing, but I'm talking about the Browns.
A kid almost punched out the other day.
There's a lot of kids that almost punch out on a daily basis. What does that have to do? I'm defending Baker Mayfield right now. Now you make me sound like a cold-hearted person. I am in the zone.
Don't we got a guest coming up?
Go to break.
This guy is insane today.
Merry Christmas. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM.
Home for the holidays, taking on a new meaning this year. Whatever your plans to celebrate, First Florist and Greenhouses can brighten your home with the holiday spirit. For gourmet baskets, holiday decorations, seasonal plants, and fresh cut flowers, your best choice is Dayton's largest family-owned florist and greenhouses. In business at the same location since 1905. First Florist and Greenhouses. In-store shopping at 1306 Troy Street in Dayton. Curbside pickup and convenient online shopping. Visit us at firsttheflorist.com. That's FURST, theflorist.com.
College football, it's the game you wake up early on Saturdays for, even though kickoff isn't until 7. The game where the Goodyear blimp becomes a Hall of Famer. The game that goes just beyond school, spirit, fandom, or love of the sport. It's the game where the comebacks happen. It's the game where anything can and will happen as long as you have the drive. Because college football is the game that moves you. We get it because it moves us too. Goodyear, more driven.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks, friggin' chicken chunks. $29.99, 2 full pounds of friggin' chicken chunks. You can get the full sauces too. You can get the full sauces too. Full sauces too, full sauces too, full sauces too, friggin' chicken chunks.
Ring in the season with 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 frickin' bonus bucks free. The ho-ho home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is Frickers.
Friggin' chicken chunks, full sauces too, friggin' chicken chunks, full friggin' pounds, friggin' chicken chunks.
At Target, we know a good deal means a great deal. This week through Saturday, December 19th, it's time to finish off your list with deals on Apple. Save up to 30% on home appliances and up to 30% off toys and games. With the holiday clock ticking, it's never too late to make a lasting impression with last-minute gifts for everyone on your list. Shop in-store and at Target.com. Bring more to every moment for less. Only at Target. Exclusions apply.
When you needed your mom, she was always there with the Vicks Vapor Rub. She used that soothing scent to calm you. And her mom used it to calm her. And her mom, well, you get the idea. Vicks Vapor Rub's always been there. It always made you feel better. And today, it still does. Bring back those childhood memories with the comfort and care only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, family tradition for a reason.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Get quality candidates delivered from Indeed's resume database immediately when you upgrade your job post. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. I picked a bad week to not take my blood pressure medication. I literally thought last night, I was like, oh, tomorrow's going to be a great show because all the Baker haters are going to go in hiding. They're not going to come out for. Oh, it's like they multiplied like rabbits. The Baker haters, it's like rabbits. They've multiplied, quadrupled overnight. And I thought for sure I was going to have to feel like the Browns losing last night. I thought for sure I was going to have to swat away the Browns haters left and right. But actually, I wasn't going to swat away the Browns haters. The Browns deserve to be ripped for the defense. The fact that we are an hour and a half into the show and I've taken 90 minutes of Bengals callers for whatever reason calling in to tell me that Baker was bad last night. The guy that had 300+ yards, 3 total touchdowns against one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Like that's the hot take of our listeners today. I thought they were better than that. And then Baker has a good game against the Ravens, or the Ravens' defense is trash. So when other quarterbacks do well against a good defense, it's because the quarterback's just really good. But when Baker does good against good defense, it's because the defense is bad. Let's bring it. ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz joining us now. Jason, welcome in, sir. How are you? Kevin warned you. He don't say he didn't warn you.
No, he warned me that you were on a Baker tear, and I'm all in for it. We can have the conversation. The only thing that I would say to everybody right now is, why is that the obsessive answer? Like, why have we become so consumed with one position on every NFL team that we judge their value as a franchise based on that one position, when I think anybody that's watched a bunch of Browns football can tell you Kevin Stefanski's offense is based on being able largely to establish a run no matter who's running it behind a really good offensive line. Like, can't Baker just be a pretty good quarterback on a pretty good team? Like, I know that's not good hot takery, but like, does he have to be Aaron Rodgers for the Browns to win games? No, but can they win games if he plays poorly? Yeah, like I think he's actually just that maddening. Like, oh yeah, when he's good, he's top 12. When he's bad, he's top 20. Oh, there you go.
He is who he is. And last night, I just got fired. I thought for sure today I'd get, heat from the Browns haters. They didn't play good defense. And we haven't heard, no one, Jason, has called in to rip the Browns defensively. That's where they were really bad. Baker Mayfield, we were waiting for him to have a performance like last night against a true, legit defensive team. We finally got that. And the narrative today from the callers has been, that Baker's just not good. That he's no good. I just don't get it.
Well, and you're right. And by the way, Kevin Stefanski, who we had the discussion last night on the Monday Night Football Tailgate digital show with Dan Graziano and Field 8, we talked about the fact that Stefanski is a Coach of the Year candidate. I think that's fair assessment for what he's been able to do with Cleveland. But to your point, we all know the book on how you're supposed to beat the Ravens. Why did the Browns, who face this team all the time, look like they'd never seen that book last night? Like, there's a spot where when Lamar gets hot running the football, your only issue is how do you stop that? And then go from there. And if it's one of those games where you stop that and he beats you with his arm, okay, you die on that hill. The fact that the defense looked last night like they hadn't seen Lamar do this ever before. This isn't Jalen Hurts. This is Lamar. Like, we all know how good he is. How they didn't have a plan for that stunned me last night.
Hey, Jason, can we give you a call right back? We are getting a lot of crackling noises on the. We don't know if it's our line or yours. Can we call you right back?
Come on, yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going to give Jason a call back. For whatever reason, that audio did not sound good. If he doesn't call back and agree with me, we're not calling him back. No, I'm just joking. That's not what's going on. But no, I think our listeners are hearing the same snap, crackle, and pop Rice Krispie phone line connection that we had going on right there. So we're going to get Jason back on the line. ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz. But no, we're going to get into some college football discussion coming up around the corner. The Big Ten Player Awards came out a little bit ago. Nick says, you didn't let me get to it as you were fired up, but the Browns win if Ward is playing. Last night, too, the Browns defense is bad. There are a lot of guys missing and not playing last night. So did we get it fixed, Kev? All right, we got ESPN Radio's Jason Fitz back with us here. All right, that sounds much better, Jason. Thank you.
Perfect. No, thank you, guys.
So with Baker Mayfield last night, I thought that it was one of his most impressive games. It's just unfortunate because it doesn't result in a W. But maybe my homerism's coming into play here because, of course, I'm blaming the defense. But I thought that was his best game as a pro because of who he went up against. It wasn't like last week where you could say, it wasn't a good defense in the Titans. This was a legit defense in the Ravens, and he had no issue marching the ball up and down the field.
Yeah, and by the way, this is why Trey and I always used to have the conversation I built at the window about wins and losses are not a quarterback stat. There's some level where you look at it and say, okay, what else should Baker have done last night? I don't think there's much else, and I was surprised they relied on him as much as they did in the game. And if Baker can play that well, knowing how well they can run the football, if Baker plays that well, I mean, the Browns are going to be absolutely a dangerous team if their defense wakes up. The defense was the failing last night. You can't give up that many points to an offense that has been more predictable than ever over the last month, and then look around and blame that on Baker.
I got two Lamar questions for you. Number one, in the top of everybody's mind, where do you come down with Poopgate with Lamar?
Oh, he was definitely going. I mean, it's cute to come. Like, he's not going to come out and tell everybody he was pooping, but there's no doubt. I mean, he was holding one back as he was running back there, came back. I mean, there's a like maybe both are true. Maybe he got an IV after he pooped, and he was like, "Oh, guys, I need more fluid after I just got rid of all that."
But he answered the questions with a straight face. He answered the questions with a straight face in the postgame. That was the best part about it. It was like, come on, man. I mean, that's there's no better time to wear a mask than right now for COVID reasons, but also to hide your facial expressions when people are asking you about your cramps, your fake cramps that you're having. He had stomach cramps. That's what he had.
Yeah, and he also, because he answered that question with "I wasn't pulling a Paul Pierce," like now he can't even yell at people for conspiracy theorizing because everybody, Paul Pierce still says it was cramps too. Like, all right. I mean, like we have those great debates all the time. Like, look, I just once want an athlete to come out and be like, "Yeah, man, things went sour midway through, and just had to take care of some business and wasn't going to do that in my pants."
So how do you rate Lamar's performance from last night? Because Ken and I definitely are on opposite sides of the fence on his performance from last night.
I mean, he ran the ball well, but I look at a little bit of this has to fall on Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens. It feels like all year Greg Roman has been into this method of like, we're going to develop Lamar to be better at different things. And I think he's past that point. Like, Lamar's a good thrower. Like, he has inconsistent moments. He's not a great thrower, but he's a good enough thrower. So at some point you stop trying to develop a guy during the season and you just say, hey, what we're going to do right now? We're going to do what we know we do well. So, he ran the ball well, but that was all that they were going to do. But that's also all they needed to do. So, it is funny that we look at running the ball with some passing efficiency as an issue for Lamar, but then we look at it as a reason why Josh Allen's an MVP candidate. Like, I mean, I understand Allen put up more yards, but he put more yards up on a lot more throws. So, this is just who Lamar is at this point. It's not always the prettiest, but it wins games.
Take records out of it. The best team in the AFC North is who?
Oh, man,
Say
that
it.
is a
Do
good
it.
question because
Do it. Say it.
Oh,
Do it.
It's the Browns, isn't it? It's the Browns. So the funny thing is that the wheels have fallen off for the Steelers. Mm-hmm. But if you watch the Steelers leading up to that, we all knew that. And you called it. I mean, I disagreed with you a few weeks ago when I said the Browns weren't making the playoffs because they had tough schedule left ahead of them. I didn't think they were going to the playoffs. But the Steelers have been sort of like, I think what's happened right now for anybody, any talking head that's like, oh my God, what's happened to the Steelers? I would turn around and say, did you watch the early portion of the season? Like, they are not that good. They were never as good as their undefeated record, and now they're sort of normalizing. So the Ravens are, I mean, I still don't look at the Ravens and say if I had to bet my house on them on a playoff run, then I'd be comfortable making that bet. So if I'm going to look across the board, I'll give it to the Browns begrudgingly, but I'm still a little shook by how bad their defense was yesterday. But in offense right now, they can be very diverse. So it's part of what makes the Titans typically offensively a tough out is that they can run the ball and they can throw the ball. Like when you can do both, you're dangerous. And so the most dangerous offense there, no pun intended to the feeling dangerous, is the Browns.
And this morning on First Take, Max Kellerman and Stephen A. were going back and forth about the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC. Like, I'm not going to go ultimate homer mode and say the Browns are a Super Bowl team, but the biggest threat to the AFC, by the way, I'm making this assumption based on what I'm seeing from Baker now. If Baker reverts back to his old self, then of course it's a different thing, but we've seen 3 straight weeks of a different Baker Mayfield than what we had seen to start the season. Offensively, I think they're the second most well-rounded offense in the AFC is the Cleveland Browns. You could argue the Bills, in my opinion, but I look at the Browns between Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, and that Baker Mayfield from the last 3 weeks. That's the second best offense in the AFC, at least the way they're playing right now. And I heard Stephen A. say, well, with that defense, there's just no way. Max Kellerman said that. Stephen A. said, look, the great thing is the good defenses aren't stopping Patrick Mahomes. So even if you have a good defense, I mean, we act like, the Browns need a good defense to stop Patrick Mahomes. You're not stopping Patrick Mahomes. You're trying to keep up with Patrick Mahomes, which is why out of all the teams in the AFC right now, Jason, I look at the Browns and say, with the way Baker's playing right now, they're the only one that has an offense that I think can have enough firepower to go back and forth with the Chiefs. Even the good defenses aren't stopping Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you're not wrong. And last night we played on Spain and Fitz. We played some different hot takes, and I forget who it was, but somebody echoed the sentiment that the Bills were the only team that could compete with the Chiefs. And I came out of that and called it a hot take. And at the moment, I actually gave the Browns before the Monday Night Football game a little credit on that one and said, hey, I look at the Browns and I'll go back to the Titans as if you have an offense that can run the football effectively, Kansas City can be run on. We all know that. They're also susceptible to the deep ball. We all know that. So there are only a couple of teams that can do that. As much as I think Buffalo is really rounded into form, Buffalo doesn't run the ball as well as either of those teams I just mentioned. So I think there is a little bit more opportunity to take away what Buffalo does well. But if you try and take away the running game and that version of Baker plays, then you're done. If you try and take away the running game from the Titans, Ryan Tannehill can still beat you with Brown. Those are the teams that are going to be able to stand a chance. But all that being said, to me, the Chiefs still remind me a lot of the Lakers in the bubble this year. Like, when they're interested, they're unbeatable. And when they're not interested, you can get a little lead on them. Maybe they feel a little hopeful, and then they wake up and they're like, we should play for a little while. And they just start throwing points all over everybody. I still believe the Chiefs are clearly the class of the entire NFL. The question is, can they just flip that light switch in the playoffs? And, so far they've had to do that several times. They've had some inexcusable outings for a team as talented as they are, but they've been there so much. I still think the Chiefs are the class.
This weekend is the weekend we all been waiting for in college football. Obviously, it's a little sour in the SEC with Florida losing to LSU last Saturday. What do you think is going to happen? What's the shakeout from this weekend?
I mean, a little souring. That shoegate changed the entire college football playoff. That's the craziest thing. Like, throwing one shoe changed the entire dynamic, because we went into this weekend thinking Florida, Bama, if Florida could do the impossible, and then you turn around and look at the Notre Dame Clemson matchup. If Notre Dame would lose to Clemson, I really thought we had a shot at 2 SEC, 2 ACC, and minds exploding all over college football, which is what I want chaos. We lost that opportunity now. So the road just got a little easier for a team like Ohio State that I think is just going to absolutely they're going to demolish Northwestern, unfortunately, because what Pat Fitzgerald has done there, I think is really spectacular this year. Nobody saw Northwestern being this good. So kudos to them, but they're just not in the same class. So I think Ohio State, it has to feel pretty good going into this weekend. Alabama now has to feel great going into this weekend, because will Florida take a little bit of a foot off the gas? The interesting one to me is A&M, because A&M has the one thing that can't happen. You can't get blown out. They got blown out by Alabama. So if for some reason Florida does the impossible and beats Alabama in the SEC championship game, everybody's saying, well, they still have a shot. No way, because they lost head-to-head to A&M, and the committee has valued head-to-head this year. So I think A&M's the one sitting in the 5 spot saying, hey, and in the meantime, as you guys know, I'll keep screaming at the top of my lungs that this is an absolute injustice this year to how good the Cincinnati team is. When they win the AAC and everybody else is chaotic ahead of them, they deserved a shot this year.
So what you're saying is thanks to Florida, Ohio State is a shoo-in?
Oh, wow, yes. Yes, yeah, they are a shoe-in. Are we proud of
here all night, folks?
I did have a question for you about the Clemson-Notre Dame game. Obviously, Notre Dame is in as long as they don't get blown out. But what if Notre Dame beats Clemson and you got Alabama, Ohio State, and Notre Dame? Who gets that 4th spot? Will they bump up Texas A&M? Will they put UC in there if they win their conference championship game?
Yeah, well, I think that's Iowa State is sitting back here saying, hey, thanks, we got this one. I don't know why they value Iowa State much, but in that scenario, I mean, I don't think Iowa State is a better football team than Cincinnati. If I had to bet Mike Golick's house and then sit in his house while it was on the line on the game between Iowa State and Cincinnati, I'm taking Cincinnati. I think they're a better football team. But that being said, the committee values Iowa State so much. There's this weird scenario where I think if you're Cincinnati, what you're rooting for is chaos. So I don't think Notre Dame, as they're playing, all of a sudden can beat Clemson again. And if they do that, then Clemson is out of the conversation. That will leave a spot open. And so that's what Cincinnati's got to be hoping for. Or some way, somehow, Pat Fitzgerald and Northwestern do the impossible. I think that's about the best scenario. But Iowa State still has value from this committee. We'll talk tonight on Rankings Reaction on digitally. We're going to talk to Gary Barta.
Did we lose him? I think so. Jason, you there? All right, you can drop him. I'll shoot him a text to let him know we dropped him. Sorry about that, Jason. We'll get the I don't know what he's calling from somewhere different than usual, obviously with the connection issues. But we'll touch base with Jason coming up here more so. He's going to be hanging out with us here for the rest of this month and hopefully more so after that. But yeah, Ohio State a shoe in.
You're here all week.
Yeah, I mean they got kicked up the rankings. I mean, how many other shoe jokes are there?
I don't know. Let's stop.
Yeah, I told with Byers on the Sunday show, Byers started talking about it. So what are you taking your shoe off for? And I said, see, it's one thing I can't stand is a football player without a shoe or whatever. Like, I'm like, come on, like, holy moly. But that, man, I'm like torn. I wish the official would just let it go, but you do have to call it.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those where, I'm curious. I would love to interview a college official. Like, it's not like there's no big names out there, but I would love to interview a college official of like what goes through their head when they see these things. How I would, you know what? That's my goal. We need to get a college official on.
They're probably shaking their head too, just like we are. Like, why would you do that?
You know, TB Teddy, I'd love to have him on. He's college basketball, but I'd love to he's one interview. I'd love to just set up an interview just so I could be rude and him hang up on me. Then I would be like, I would feel good, even if we don't actually get a true conversation in. TB Teddy. Unreal. I heard, the Flyers had a game a few weeks ago. It was who was SMU game, and TB Teddy was officiating that game, and I don't know who was broadcasting the Flyers game that night, but like they were like, man, these kids. By the way, these kids who were number 3 in the country last year, they played with Obi Toppin on ESPN all the time. He said, how excited do you think these kids are when they see that Teddy Valentine's calling the game? That's how they know they're in a big game. I'm like, holy smokes, are you kidding me?
They don't care about the refs.
Yeah. In fact, if anything, people can't stand that official. So I'm just throwing that out there. I have no clue. We are all over.
I know. Former UD basketball player Edwin Young is a official.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yep. So, but I mean, like for basketball, but for football, I'd love to, because I'm just curious, like what goes through your mind, like, especially in those intense situations, like these officials have to know so much is on the line. Are there times where you're selective on when you throw a flag because it's like, okay, with how big this game is, I would hate for a shoe to be what we call but you never know.
Got to control yourself. Got to control your emotions.
That's right. I made the joke about the people getting mad about masks. I haven't seen this many people mad about a piece of cloth since the Fiesta Bowl last year with Buckeye fans.
You mentioned masks. I want to give a round of applause to every Cleveland Browns fan that was at the game last night at First Energy Stadium. Every time they panned to the crowd, people had masks on. I saw some lady, she had a mask and a shield on. Watching college football, especially watching that game, LSU and Florida last weekend, they were paying the crowd, no mask. So I'm applauding all my people in my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, who went to the game and there were masks on, gloves and everything like that. I know it's a small thing, but I was happy to see that. I was happy to see the team from Ohio, one of the teams from Ohio, acting accordingly, following the rules, wearing the mask and everything like that.
I'm not impressed. It was 20 degrees. Of course they're wearing a mask. They did it for their own selfish reasons of being cold. When it's hot out, let's see how committed they are to
water's wet. Cold. No, it's not. Sky's blue. No, it's not.
Sorry, I'm a Bengals fan now. Okay. No, but you're right. But I was thinking, I will say this. The masks drive me nuts. Like, at times, like they are annoying. Look, we can't sit here and act like we need to wear them, but let's not act like they're not annoying. But it's been a little chilly lately. I find myself, like, if I go to the store and I have it on and I leave the store and it's cold, I'll find myself with the mask pulling into my driveway at home because it's cold and it's just natural. It's just warm. So, yeah, that's why, I'm not going to give the Browns fans any credit for that. It was cold out. If it's like 70, 80 out and they're doing it, then I'll give them credit. But until then, your winter apparel. That's all it is.
Browns fans, I'm on your side.
All right, folks, we'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with a high near 35. Tonight's going to be cloudy with a chance of snow, a low around 28. And tomorrow is going to be cloudy with snow, a high near 34. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
All those mouths to feed. So many different cravings.
In a world filled with endless dinner options, lives a family ravaged by hunger. The answer lies with one man. No, not just a man, a king, a pizza king.
Get a large Casanos Deluxe pizza for $15.99 or a large pepperoni for just $12.99. Call 294-KING and see for yourself why the proof is in the taste.
Pizza King.
Justin Kinner here for Howard Music. Howard Music, one of the nation's largest music stores, is having their 84th annual holiday sale. Over 5,000 instruments and accessories have been reduced to their lowest price just in time for musical gift giving. Guitars, drums, band instruments, ukuleles, everything musical is on sale. Howard Music is in Centerville on Route 725, just 2 miles east of the Dayton Mall. Look for the huge Howard sign for selection, service, and savings on all of your musical needs. Whether you are a beginner or a seasoned musician, come to Howard Music for musical instruments, accessories, repairs, lessons, or even sheet music. Howard offers the most varied musical inventory in Southwest Ohio. Howard is accredited with the Better Business Bureau with an A+ rating. They've been satisfying their customers for over 83 years. This holiday season, just keep in mind how important it is to shop local. Howard Music on Route 725, 2 miles east of the Dayton Mall. Howard Music's 84th annual holiday sale is going on now.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Taking on that next oil change yourself is a great idea. We can help you get started. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $31.99. You can even get it all fast your way with our next day delivery or free same day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
OHMB 803342 and MLS 304138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
Whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Gather together with friends and family. It's Skyline time.
My go-to order at Skyline is 3 cheese conies all the way. You can't beat that combination of flavors. When I get that coney craving, I know it's Skyline time.
Procter & Gamble, the company behind some of your favorite brands like Tide, Charmin, and Pampers, is now hiring entry-level technicians at the Dayton Distribution Center. P&G is offering a competitive pay rate for 8 and 12-hour rotating shifts plus an additional shift incentive. P&G offers a comprehensive benefits package on day 1. For more information, visit pgcareers.com, search for Dayton, and apply today. Procter & Gamble is an equal opportunity employer.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information appraisal and title report. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 33.
Money hooray, money for the holidays. Oh, what fun it could be with money for the holidays. Need money for the holidays? Jackson Hewitt could help. Starting December 17th, come in and ask a Jackson Hewitt tax pro how you could get up to $700 fast with an early refund advance 0% APR loan by Metabank. All you need to get started is a pay stub or other proof of income. Learn how at jacksonhewitt.com. Terms apply.
BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today with professional counseling done securely online. Visit betterhelp.com/feelhappy and get 15% off your first month.
Just close your eyes.
Boo, you already got me an iPhone SE from Cricket.
Okay. Open.
A caribou.
It's a reindeer deer.
In North America, it's called a caribou, Boo.
No way.
Well, I love my new iPhone SE and my new caribou. What's it mean?
It's caribou.
Get the iPhone SE for $49.99 when you switch. Smile. You're on Cricket.
Ends 1721. Excludes upgrades and AT&T ports. Limit 2 phones per customer. Activation fee $25 per line and additional one-time fees. $4 customer assistance fee may apply subject to change.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? Mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
As a professional painter, you're only as good as your last job. Make it count with Behr Pro i300 interior paint from the Home Depot, starting at just $15.99 a gallon. And that's before the Pro Extra discount. You get superior hide and coverage, fast, easy application with a sprayer, roller, or brush. And you'll make sure your next job is your best job. Behr Pro i300 interior paint, starting at just $15.99 a gallon. Now at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Available in-store and online.
The radio in your dash is more than radio. That SiriusXM button is instant access to a world of exclusive entertainment, including ad-free music channels for every genre and decade. You can also hear your favorite sports, comedy, talk, and news. Plus, you can stream with the SiriusXM app on your phone and connected home devices. And there's never been a better time to listen. Subscribe now and get your first 12 months for $5 a month with a new select subscription. Fees and taxes apply. Go to SiriusXM.com to learn more.
Starting route. Your destination is 0.1 miles away.
If you drive less than
500 feet, turn left. You have arrived at your destination.
If you drive less than 25 miles a day, you could be paying less every day with pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate. You get the same reliable coverage and hands-on expertise you'd expect from Allstate, but now at a price that's tailored to the miles you drive.
Call your local Allstate agent and start paying what's right for you. Includes a daily rate. Prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Not applicable in California. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
What?
Hey, man, it's all good, baby.
It's not good. Nothing's good.
Yes, it is.
No. Everyone's attacking me, getting mad at me. Everyone's beating up on my Browns.
Oh, they're attacking you.
Yeah, you didn't like my question to Jason Fitz. What's Ron talking? Ron Howard, you got a serious attitude. You ain't seen nothing yet, Ron. You ain't seen nothing. So as Jason Fitz from Spain and Fitz, and of course we'll be on Rankings Reaction coming up later on tonight. The second to last college football playoff rankings will come out later tonight before the final ones on Sunday. So he'll be on that tonight. We're going to get into some college football stuff here in a moment. But I asked him, throw records out to the AFC North. The best team in the AFC North right now is who? And I was surprised that he actually agreed with me that it was the Cleveland Browns overall right now are the best team in the AFC North, just as the way they're playing right now, and that's even after losing to the Ravens. So that's why I was even surprised that he agreed with me on that. Now you're appalled. You're just appalled. I mean,
that is like the most loaded question of all time. That's like saying
it's Kenner. Kenner's not that loaded. I mean,
that is super loaded. That's like asking Keith to walk past here, our boss Keith, and said, "Hey, Keith, who's the tallest person in this room?"
And that's not deep. That's
sitting
easy.
down.
That's easy.
Sitting down. Like what? Like that's the weirdest question. I don't know how you can throw records.
That is the weirdest question.
I don't get how you can throw records out. Like
I just explained it to you during the commercial.
The Browns.
It's not my fault. You can't understand.
I do understand what you're saying.
You're being weird because
it's not weird. They are 2 and 3 in the division.
What they did in September has nothing to do with right now.
Yes, it does.
No, because the Steelers were 11-0 a week ago, and they're not. They don't look like an undefeated team right now. They're not good right now.
They're 2 and 3 in the division. I can't say a team that has lost to another team twice is better than them. I can't. Like I remember this happened when Ohio State beat Alabama. And they were talking like, man, I can't believe Ohio State beat Alabama. And then Las Vegas came out with their lovely little power rankings of college football after Ohio State beat them. And they said Alabama was better than them. They lost. They're not better than them.
That's not, again, losses happen, but big picture is a big part of the conversation that we're having here. And records, I'm not saying they don't matter. They matter. That's how you get to the playoffs. Bro, I'm talking about right now. That's why I said the record's out right now, even with the Browns losing last night. That high-powered offense of the Browns, the better overall offense. They have the best overall offense in the division, second best overall offense in the AFC right now. That's what is allowing me to go in that direction. The playoffs is never about who's the best. It's always about who's playing the best at that particular moment. That's a very simple, easy question, Kev.
It's loaded. It's
loaded. Not loaded. It's very easy.
Loaded to make you feel better. It's loaded to make you feel better.
For one, I would rather be. I like the direction that the Browns are going in right now. But the Browns are in a better direction right now than the Steelers, and the Steelers are 11-2. So It's not that loaded. It's common sense. It's fairly simple. It's really simple. The Cleveland Browns are playing better right now than the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all it's basically asking. It's a cuter way to ask that. So you happy? It's really not that loaded. I can throw out, okay, fine. Who's playing the best football right now in the AFC North? Cleveland, even with losing last night to the Ravens.
Okay.
When you laugh, I know there's a lot of hidden non-FCC approved words behind that laughter.
It's not. We just don't agree, man. It's fine. It's cool. It's cool not to agree.
Jason agreed with me. Jason agreed with me. So there you go. There you go.
He's also a Raiders fan. Shouts out.
What does that have to do with anything? You're a Steelers fan, so that also eliminates your point too. Eric says, you're calling the team. Hold up, I got to make sure. I'm old and can't read this. You're calling the team that just lost 2 times to the Ravens and blown out by the Steelers the best in their division. It's ridiculous. I guess this would be a hot take. I get because people, you're going back that's why I said throw the records out, because the records are okay. Who's better? Who has a better record? Technically, the Browns still have a better record than the Ravens, so that you lose that argument too. But the other point is with all of this, that's why I said throw the records out, not because I'm trying to change the narrative of it, but it's about you strip the records away. You just look at how all the teams are playing right now. Even with the Browns losing to the Ravens, because it was so neck and neck last night, and the Browns have been playing better football than the Ravens have over the last month anyways, and because of how close that game was last night, although the Ravens did come away with the win, it's not like they're just catapulting past the Browns and they're playing the best football in the AFC North right now. Like the Ravens still didn't look good doing it last night. They're a good defensive team that did not look good defensively last night. That offense that they won with last night, it was Lamar willing them to a win, Kev. But if you have to rely on Lamar rushing, if you have to rely on your quarterback running for 3 touchdowns a game for you to win with that bad defense, Kev, don't you see that's not a good position to be in? I feel like the Browns are in a better position.
The difference between the Ravens offense and saying like, all right, he's scrambling around and making things happen. That's not how their offense is constructed. Him scrambling around like they're calling a drop back pass and he just says, forget it, and bails out the pocket and makes a play. Like they are running a quote unquote college offense where there's a
go back to college. The playoffs this weekend, maybe they'll make that.
a ton of zone read. And that's why when we always talk about like, well, the only teams ever really to shut Lamar down are the Steelers and last year's Titans team, where they basically said, hey, we're going to crash down on Lamar on the zone read and force him to give it to the running back to eliminate the run perspective of his game and force them to pass the ball. Other teams don't have the personnel to do it, or they just aren't doing it. So I just think that there's multiple ways to play football. I don't think there's one blanket way to play football. Like you have your high potent passing attack like you got with Green Bay, and then you have your balanced offense that you have like with Tennessee and the Browns. There's multiple ways to play this game of football. I don't think there's one cookie cutter way. Like, all right, either you play it this way or you don't play at all.
Okay, there's multiple ways to play football, but there's not multiple ways to draw. I mean, there's not multiple ways that an entire franchise is going to feel comfortable saying that this is the way to get to a Super Bowl. The Ravens are saying they invested into Lamar and they built around him, but it's not like, I think if you looked at that front office, if they had a choice between a pro-style quarterback or Lamar, they're not going to give you an honest answer, but they're going to be more comfortable with the pro-style quarterback, more under the pocket, more a guy that can drop back and make plays with his arm.
They had one. They got rid of him.
No, that Joe Flacco. No, Joe Flacco is he's a dry, dull, boring quarterback that no one was going to try and build around. And look how old Joe Flacco is anyways.
And then they proved that they doubled down because they went and got backup quarterbacks that run the same system.
Who?
They got RG3, who's a mobile quarterback.
How's that worked out for his whole career?
I'm just saying they doubled down on their investment to say like, all right, we're not going to have a quarterback that runs.
Because you went in with what you
had.
Because it's hard to find a quarterback in the NFL, and it's like Lamar's good enough. He's won an MVP. Lamar, it's a weird MVP. It's going to be one of those things that we look. It is a weird MVP. Like no one like. I don't know. I'm just not a Lamar guy. I'm going to be comfortable
because it's different. It's different from what you're used to seeing.
Because what I'm seeing is the norm. What I'm seeing,
the way Baker Mayfield was playing earlier in the season, you weren't happy with that because it's not all throw it all around the field and all that type of stuff. You can win Super Bowls multiple ways.
You can get lucky on an outlier year, but the way to win.
I don't know why you constantly call these things outliers when they constantly happen.
It doesn't constantly happen. The pass-heavy attack offenses win Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, even the backup in Nick Foles because of the style of which
the pass-heavy seasons that Tom Brady had, he has not won the Super Bowl.
For one, but the years that he has won a Super Bowl,
they were balanced.
But Tom Brady is still different than a Nick, or not. He's still different than we're looking at like a guy like you just talked about like a Case Keenum. Like a Case Keenum, you're not winning a Super Bowl with a Case Keenum. You're not winning a Super Bowl with these guys who are just good. Like you're not winning one with Tannehill. You're not winning a Super Bowl with Tannehill.
So who are you going to win with? Because
the Aaron Rodgers of the world, the Big Ben Roethlisberger of the world.
We go through every quarterback in the NFL. You say they're not winning one with him. You're not winning one with him. Who can you win with? Who do you think is worthy of winning a Super Bowl?
Well, you keep saying. I mean, but you live in the world where anyone can be whatever they want to be. Anyone
absolutely. Because in sports, that's what makes sports so unique. You can't just say because oh man, he's big and strong, he's better than you. Well, you have to prove it. You can't just say it. You have to get out there and prove it on the field. Like I don't come from a place where like somebody if LeBron James is on the same basketball court with me, I'm not going to back down from LeBron James. I'm going to play, and he's going to have to prove that he's better than me. I'm not just going to say he's better than me.
My money's on LeBron.
I mean, you can do that, and we'll play, and we'll figure it out from there. And on that, anybody can.
So you're saying you don't know that LeBron's better than you?
I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm not backing down from nobody.
I had the hottest take of the day until Kev just went.
I'm just saying, like, I don't come from a world where a person just says they're better than you. You have to prove it. And when, especially in sports, that is the great equalizer.
You get heartbroken a lot.
And on those days when the quote unquote little guy wins, they win on that day. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes sports great. That's why people tune in to March Madness, because the little guy has a chance. That's why people tune in to upsets, because the little guy has a chance. Let's see what happens. That's how I live. Not only look at sports, but that's how I live my life. Because if you just went from like, all right, these people over here, they're nothing, they'll never be nothing, then people should just give up.
So you're the lottery scratch off guy that's like, I'm not going to get a real job. I'm just going to keep my lottery tickets. And no, it's true. You're saying, hey, the way people make it is by having jobs and making money, but I'm not going to have a job because I'm going to go with, hey, I read an article about 5 people that won $1 million at the lottery ticket. So I'm going to keep buying lottery tickets and hope that I scratch off $1 million because it's been done. It can do it. I can do it. I literally just said. So the Cinderella stories in March Madness, like that's the thing. Like you just hope that you're a team that can make it run.
You bust your tail and you give it your best effort, and you don't say that somebody's better than you just because somebody else tells you they're better than you. You don't let somebody, because they're bigger and quote unquote stronger than you, tell you that they're better than you and just lay down and just accept it for what it is.
I tell people whatever I want.
I know. I'm here with you every day,
and I can't wait for when Lamar retires as MVP. Exciting, fun running quarterback with no Super Bowls. Hell, he don't even have a playoff win. Him and Baker have the same amount of playoff wins right now. And Baker's about to get his first playoff win this season, and then it's going to be like, oh, my God, no, well, Baker still sucks, and Lamar's the greatest ever, and he can't throw, but he can run. The Browns have running backs. So, all right, 457. Doug Toby says, let me help your blood pressure. UD is better than Wright State. My blood pressure, it's maxed out, man. I've said before, UD fans may not like this, but this year's Wright State team could beat this year's UD team. So, I mean, that's not a hot take. If anyone
because they have to prove it, right? UD has to prove that they're better than them, right?
But there's like also context behind my decision. I'm not just going out there and saying, I'm not going to say that, well, Bellarmine can beat UD. Oh, okay, in Kev's world, they could, because anyone can beat anyone on it. But there's context behind why I say Wright State can beat UD, because I actually watched the team. I know about the team. I know it can go, whatever. So, Doug, never mind. Blood pressure, I'm in control. I'm in control of this moment. We'll be back in a moment. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
At Lee's, home style can happen anywhere. Stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for comfort food made easy with our home style bowl combo for only $5.49. Savory mashed potatoes, topped with a chopped golden brown breast strip, sweet corn, gravy, cheddar cheese, and served with a regular drink. Get a sit-down meal made easy with Lee's home style bowl combo for only $5.49. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Save today on your next project at Menards, your home improvement store. Give your home a new look with Shaw Vinyl Plank Flooring. Manor Hill is waterproof, features an attached pad and clicks together for an easy installation. It's durable, making it perfect for any room in your home. Only $249 per square foot. Save on your next project now at Menards. Good through December 20th. Plus, a Menards gift card is always a great gift idea.
4 seasons, 3 G's, so you want from Menards.
Poking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for something to do this holiday season? Poking Bowling Centers offer a memorable experience with the family. Give the gift of bowling. Poking Bowling Centers offer gift cards, and they're great for the hard-to-buy-for person in the family. Safe, sanitized, and socially distanced. Let the good times roll at Poking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Poking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Poking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package. We'll change the oil and filter, rotate the tires, check the brakes, test the battery, and check all the fluids and filters. Still starting at just $39.95. And ask us about our double take tire specials. Goodyear, Michelin, BF Goodrich, Kelly, and other quality tires. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
The 2021 Honda Pioneer lineup is here to make light work of the job and add a heavy dose of fun to your day off. Every Pioneer side-by-side is stock full of smart technology, responsive power, and Honda's hallmark of engineering excellence. The only thing left to add is you. Then you'll understand how life is better on a Honda. For your safety, read the owner's manual, wear a helmet and eye protection, always wear your seatbelt, and keep the side nets and doors closed. Pioneers are for drivers 16 years and older.
Give the gift of a Dayton tradition. Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps. Milano's gift cards are the perfect way to give good times and those favorite subs and pizza to family and friends. Right now, for each $25 Milano's gift card you buy, you'll get $5 more free.
They can bulge, go bald, wear down, flatten, or be in dire need of replacing.
No, guys, it's not you.
We're talking about your tires. Let Fat Boys get your car rolling again. Safe and sound. Fat Boys carries tires in all makes, styles, and sizes, including Continental, Goodyear, Michelin, and more. Check out Fat Boys' new location in North Dayton
At the corner of Needmore and I-75.
or 3050 Springboro Pike in South Dayton.
Fat Boys, your ultimate resource for wheels, tire, service, and accessories.
Look for Fat Boys at fatboysdayton.com.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Discover and enjoy your favorite music, news, and talk radio from live stations across the country. Listen anywhere on all mobile and home devices with the radio.com app.
This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
At Target, we know a good deal means a great deal. This week through Saturday, December 19th, it's time to finish off your list with deals on Apple. Save up to 30% on home appliances and up to 30% off toys and games. With the holiday clock ticking, it's never too late to make a lasting impression with last-minute gifts for everyone on your list. Shop in-store and at Target.com. Bring more to every moment for less. Only at Target. Exclusions apply.
When you needed your mom, she was always there with the Vicks Vapor Rub. She used that soothing scent to calm you. And her mom used it to calm her. And her mom, well, you get the idea. Vicks Vapor Rub's always been there. It always made you feel better. And today, it still does. Bring back those childhood memories with the comfort and care only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, family tradition for a reason.
Just close your eyes.
Boo, you already got me an iPhone SE from Cricket.
Okay. Open.
A caribou.
It's a reindeer, dear.
In North America, it's called a caribou, Boo.
No way.
Well, I love my new iPhone SE and my new caribou. What's it mean?
It's cherry, Boo.
Get the iPhone SE for $49.99 when you switch. Smile. You're on Cricket.
Ends 1/7/21. Excludes upgrades and AT&T ports. Limit 2 phones per customer. Activation fee $25 per line and additional one-time fees. $4 customer assistance fee may apply, subject to change.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Taking on that next oil change yourself is a great idea. We can help you get started. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $31.99. You can even get it all fast your way with our next day delivery or free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
No one likes going to the grocery store, especially during the holidays. That's why you need ButcherBox. ButcherBox ships high-quality meat right to your door. And they partner with folks who prioritize caring for animals, the environment, and sustainability. And listen up, because you need to hear what I'm about to say. For a limited time, new members can get a free pack of bacon in every box for the life of their membership when they sign up at butcherbox.com/CJR. That's butcherbox.com/CJR. Go get that bacon.
This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Eagles beat the Saints. Are the Eagles better than the Saints?
The Eagles beat the Saints?
Mm-hmm. So the Eagles better than the Saints? I'm just
On that day they was.
I agree.
Sunday they were.
Mm-hmm. But overall, the Saints are better than the Eagles, right?
We'll see.
Stop.
We'll see.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Well, entire season, the Eagles have lost, but they beat the Saints.
Right.
Okay. So, but you're saying that, hey, that the records matter.
Right.
So the Saints are
especially when you're talking about a division when all teams play each other multiple
so
times.
moving the goalpost.
No, I'm not. I said that. I said that the Browns were 2-3 in the division, while the Steelers are 4-0 in the division, and the Ravens are 3-2 in the division. I can't say that they're better than them if they've lost to the teams multiple times. They lost to the Ravens multiple times. They got blew out once. A great game last night. They got blew out by the Steelers. Probably going to play a tight one last week of the season. I don't see what the big
records
deal
are
is.
better. Not playing better. Records are better.
So that's a different case.
But
You said
that's
who's
not
playing. You said you didn't say who's playing better.
But when I said earlier, who's playing better right now? Who's playing better in the AFC North
I
right
said
now?
that. I told you that.
No, you said it was too complex. No.
When we first started the show today, they said they were playing the best football in the division. I said, yeah, I agree with you. But then when you try to snake it around, who's the best team in the AFC to throw the records out, then you get convoluted.
But it's not. It's the same damn thing. I said take the records
If
out.
it was the same
who's
thing,
the best
if
team in the
it
AFC
was
North
the-
right now? The team that's playing the best right
If
now is the Browns.
If it was the same thing, you would have asked it the same way.
There's many ways to ask things. Like, I don't say, how stupid are you, Kev? I just say, you're stupid. Like, there's many things I could say. I'm being immature today.
I can
I
tell.
don't care.
I can
I'm
tell
name
you're
calling.
I mean, me of all people who've actually defended Baker Mayfield more than you, to be perfectly honest, because you tried to trade him middle of the season.
What are you trying to say? That you like Baker more than me? You're a bigger Baker fan
I'm
than
just
me?
saying, you tried to trade him for two bum quarterbacks when I said he's young, let him develop,
you
and you wanted him out of here.
Because the Browns are in win now mode. And you want to know why I was saying to trade him? Because I am one of those people that can actually, like, my analysis is based on the now. Where are we now? Based on everything that's going on now, that was where we were at. The Browns had too much talent to wait for Baker to develop, which is why I said they need to trade. So this Baker here, now you should be concerned. If I'm saying trade Baker now with him playing like a top 5 quarterback in the league, then that's a problem.
You were ready to trade your first round pick, who's still in the middle of development, who's actually shown he's developing in the season, which is allowed, which you weren't going to allow to happen, for two bum quarterbacks.
Now, that's not true at all, because if you look at the fact that the Browns had put this roster together starting last season, they wasted all of last year. They're desperate to win and win now. Every move that they make is about winning now. So I don't like when people say, well, you got to, like, the Bengals, they have time to let Joe Burrow develop because they're not looking to go anywhere. They're built for him to develop. The Browns were not built for Baker Mayfield to develop. They were built to win now. And they bought into the success that Baker had his rookie year. They're like, oh man, if he's this good without what we have, without what we're going to go get him, imagine how good he's going to be with what we go get him. The problem is he regressed because of coaching and everything else. He did not grow as the roster grew talent-wise. The coaching was not good and step back. So the Browns were built to win now. So I get what you're saying. Yes, quarterbacks should have time to develop, but not every situation is the same. The Browns are not in a development mode.
And you wanted to bail
They're in a win because I'm not in a they're not in a development mode. At
Every
that time,
every team is in the development mode.
Not the good ones.
Yes, you are. Every team drafts a first round pick, and they want to develop that
you
player.
act like a running back in the 4th round is the same as a quarterback with the number 1 overall pick is the same.
Every team is in development mode. Their jobs as coaches is to develop the talent and make sure the talent maximizes their potential and throughout the season. And now that we're seeing that Baker Mayfield is on a trajectory upward, everybody loves him. And, oh, man, it's great. Let's keep him around. But before, when I said, hey, let's see where it goes, you don't have to push the panic
why
button.
can't you understand that they don't have time to see where it goes? They are win now.
Okay, so who would you rather have right now, Baker Mayfield or the two bums you were trying to trade him for?
Matt Ryan's not a bum.
He is a bum.
He's not a bum.
He's a bum.
He's not a bum team. He's not
He's
a bum.
He just threw the interception. He just threw the interception to lose to the Chargers. He's a bum.
Don't know.
Stafford's a bum. He's a bum.
Dude, you are so wrong on that. You are so wrong on that. Like, I can't wait for when Stafford goes on to a real team and actually has success, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, it's not because you're going to be like the Bengals. You're going to, help it off for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and you'll be like, oh, he's horrible. Did you see? You see he overthrew that one receiver. You're going to be like, you're going to be delusional like Bengals fans.
So trade for him.
Tell
the Browns to trade for him.
Not for what?
I wanted to a week ago,
dude,
right?
You got to understand something. I don't get what's so hard about when Baker wasn't playing well. Me saying
so you're week to week.
No, week to week.
Because that's how it is.
Did you realize that a month ago was 2 months into the season?
You're week to week.
I wasn't saying trade him after week
peaks
1.
and valleys, the roller coaster.
Again, this is a business that they don't have time for peaks and valleys. Where was peaks and valleys with Carson Wentz? Hey, hold on. Let's not just throw the rookie into the fire. Let's just let him finish the season. We got to develop him. How come that's okay?
I didn't say it was.
But that it is okay because it's a business. You have to know what you have now. Every decision that is made is about knowing.
And Carson Wentz is in the middle of development. Carson Wentz been in the league for multiple years, and he's on his second contract.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no development that's needed to take place. Baker Mayfield's on his 4th offensive coordinator in so many seasons. That's why I was saying, well, let's see what happens. Let's give him a chance. Let's not just throw him out with the bathwater.
But again, when I was saying that the Browns should trade for a quarterback, they needed to get a quarterback in there that was ready to play now. You were saying I was all for letting Baker develop, but the team was not in a position to let him develop. They had talent to win now. No one in their right mind goes.
And they were winning. They were winning games too.
But again, if you know anything about football, I do know a lot about football. You really don't. If you did, the Browns were not going to win games that way in the playoffs.
Because
that way,
you're allowed to play better throughout the season.
Okay, but yes, situational, depending on the situation. And the Browns were not in that situation.
They were still winning games.
By the way, they were winning games until they faced a real football team and the Steelers, and how'd that go? That way of Baker Mayfield throwing 20 times and just letting the running back carry everything, that was not going to get it done against the good teams. It was good enough. Like I told you, the run game was good enough to have the Browns have a playoff opportunity. Baker was going to be what took them to that next level of being a playoff threat. Now they're a threat. Why? What's the difference between now and back when they were playing the Steelers? They have a quarterback who's playing well now. He wasn't playing well then.
Because he developed.
And again, that's great. But there was no one out there that thought that, and that's why I asked you earlier. Can you think of the time where a player was bad to start a season and then was great to end it? Baker was not good to start. He's playing really, really great right now.
Yeah.
So, there's not enough examples to show that the Browns should count on that.
I've said that from the jump. Let's see how the season goes.
And then when it didn't count work, then the Browns wasted 2 seasons with all this talent. You don't have time for that. You just don't.
I don't understand. And that's why Browns are always in that same position, because they always hit the panic button every time something doesn't go their way. Oh, he's not playing good enough. Get him out of here. He's not playing well. Get him out. He's not playing good enough. Change goes. Dump this. Dump it. Everything. That's how people work. Like, people aren't patient enough in general.
Well, when they didn't let Freddie Kitchens develop, they made the right decision moving on from him and making a change, and I think that worked out pretty well.
You point to the one time in the last 20 years.
The one time in the last,
and all those other times that they bailed.
So you're saying it's an outlier and that we shouldn't go on outliers?
I'm not saying that.
Your whole life is based on outliers.
I'm saying that they've had a pattern for over 20 years of bailing on coaches before they even get to implement their system. And now that it finally worked out, you're waving the flag like, look, I was right. Look. They're developing Baker Mayfield. He's playing good football now. Like I've been saying all season, I think he's on a situation where they're saying, let's see how the season goes. Let's see how the season goes. One game's not
time to see how the season went.
You don't think they have enough time? Apparently they did. Apparently they thought they had enough time. And
there were reasons that rumblings coming out about the Browns looking at other quarterbacks.
Apparently they thought they had enough time. Apparently they thought they had enough time.
You know who's not?
That's why they didn't trade him, and he's playing good football now.
You know what team?
Like they were right.
You know what team doesn't have reports of looking at quarterbacks going trade deadline? Patrick Mahomes' team. All right. At the time, Baker wasn't playing good enough football, so that's why the Browns were looking around. There's a reason they were looking around. There was a reason.
And there's also a reason.
Now they're not going to be looking around because Baker is proving to be the guy. But at the time, he was not. There's a reason. The coach was telling us that he did not believe in him by only having him throw the ball 20 times a game. Trust me. And you say, but that's winning football. If the Browns had Patrick Mahomes, I promise you they wouldn't be only allowing him to throw the ball 20 times. But
Patrick Mahomes has been with the same offensive coordinator and coaches since his rookie year.
And I promise you, any other first-year coordinator that gets, or whoever the coordinator is that replaces Bieniemy, they're not going to say, well, now I run a pretty tight system here. So Patrick Mahomes, you're a great guy, but we're only going to let you throw the ball 20 times until you get comfortable in my system. Kev Nash way.
No one said that.
That's what you just said.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I did not say that at all. At all.
Go to break. We'll be back. We'll be back. Oh, what a day. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere, folks.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with a high near 35. Tonight's going to be cloudy with a chance of snow, a low around 28. And tomorrow is going to be cloudy with snow, a high near 34. I'm Pete Spyback for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Hey guys, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. I just want to remind you that Howard Music right now is having their 84th annual holiday sale. They have over 5,000 instruments and accessories, and they've all been reduced to their lowest price, which is perfect because it's just in time for musical gift giving here for the holidays. They have guitars, drums, band instruments, ukuleles, everything musical that they have, it's on sale. Howard Music, it's in Centerville on Route 725, just 2 miles east of the Dayton Mall. Make sure you look for the huge Howard sign out front. You cannot miss it. For selection, service, and savings on all of your musical needs, Howard Music is the place to go. Whether you are a beginner or a seasoned musician, you have to go to Howard Music for all musical instruments, accessories, repairs, lessons, or even sheet music. Howard offers the most varied musical inventory in Southwest Ohio. This holiday season, I cannot emphasize how important it is to shop local. Shop at Howard Music on Route 725, 2 miles east of the Dayton Mall. Howard Music's 84th annual holiday sale is going on now. Go check them out.
The radio in your dash is more than radio. That SiriusXM button is instant access to a world of exclusive entertainment, including ad-free music channels for every genre and decade. You can also hear your favorite sports, comedy, talk, and news. Plus, you can stream with the SiriusXM app on your phone and connected home devices. And there's never been a better time to listen. Subscribe now and get your first 12 months for $5 a month with a new select subscription. Fees and taxes apply. Go to SiriusXM.com to learn more.
Progressive presents The Sounds of the Old World.
The year is 2019, and someone is getting up to use the bathroom at the stadium.
Excuse me? Excuse me? Oh, sorry. Excuse me? You mind if I just squeeze by here?
This has been The Sounds of the Old World.
Brought to you by Progressive, where drivers can still switch and save like it's 2019.
Quote today at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
All those mouths to feed. So many different cravings. In a world filled with endless dinner options, lives a family ravaged by hunger. The answer lies with one man. No, not just a man, a king, a pizza king. Get a large Casano's Deluxe Pizza for $15.99 or a large pepperoni for just $12.99. Call 294-KING and see for yourself why the proof is in the taste. Pizza King.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Taking on that next oil change yourself is a great idea. We can help you get started. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge full synthetic motor oil and an STP extended life oil filter for just $31.99. You can even get it all fast your way with our next day delivery or free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please? Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Poking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for something to do this holiday season? Poking Bowling Centers offer a memorable experience with the family. Give the gift of bowling. Poking Bowling Centers offer gift cards, and they're great for the hard-to-buy-for person in the family. Safe, sanitized, and socially distanced. Let the good times roll at Poking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Poking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Poking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
Home for the holidays, taking on a new meaning this year. Whatever your plans to celebrate, First Florist and Greenhouses can brighten your home with the holiday spirit. For gourmet baskets, holiday decorations, seasonal plants, and fresh cut flowers, your best choice is Dayton's largest family-owned florist and greenhouses. In business at the same location since 1905. First Florist and Greenhouses. In-store shopping at 1306 Troy Street in Dayton, curbside pickup, and convenient online shopping. Visit us at firsttheflorist.com. That's FURST, theflorist.com.
At Milano's, we make the food that brings friends and family together. Invite Milano's to your party with easy online ordering, fast delivery, our quick pickup carryout station, and full catering menu. Milano's Pizza, Subs, and Taps. Celebrate the season.
Whatever you send through the U.S. Postal Service this season is so much more than mail or packages. In every carrier's hands is a card with your handwriting. In every box, on every truck, is your message that you care. We know how much goes into your holiday mail, especially this year, which is why we go the distance to bring you closer. Learn more at USPS.com/closer.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick! Sorry, kids! Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision.
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One NA member FDIC.
BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today with professional counseling done securely online. Visit betterhelp.com/feelhappy and get 15% off your first month.
Ever wonder just how far an extra mile really goes? Drive a Mercedes-Benz van and find out. Start with a network of over 250 authorized dealerships, backed by a sales force ready to help you with everything from customization to service on vans like the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter that's tailored to your lifestyle, with options like blind spot assist and MBUX voice command for spoken directions, weather, and more.
The route is being calculated.
So whether you're enjoying life on the trail or working hard on the job, see how far an extra mile can really go by taking the first step into an authorized Mercedes-Benz van dealership today. Now with IRS Section 179, businesses can be eligible for up to a $25,900 tax deduction. That's up to $5,439 in tax savings.
Options and model availability may vary. See dealer for details about costs and terms. Some equipment described as optional. $5,439 tax savings based on 21% federal tax rate and eligibility to claim full $25,900 Section 179 vehicle deduction. Your tax rate and eligibility may vary. Consult your tax advisor for more information. Limits may apply. Visit nbdance.com. Offer valid through December 31st, 2020.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino. And believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 800-723-5220. That's 800-723-5220. 800-723-5220. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Or price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
How about the news from earlier today? Just right before we went on the air today, Giannis Antetokounmpo signs a max extension to stay in Milwaukee. He becomes the first superstar that I could think of that has signed a max deal with the team that he was drafted by since who?
The Supermax?
like Kobe and Dirk in my lifetime will always be known as the guys that they didn't buy into the super team hype. Now, to be honest, Kobe's always going to be an example to me of a guy that there were rumblings of him trying to force the trade out of Los Angeles when things weren't going well. So I found that interesting. That those rumblings were out there, and that just proves my point. Like Kobe Bryant's the second ultimate competitor of all time behind Michael Jordan. They were the same. They were the same makeup. They were the same person. They were the same player. And to my point is, Kobe was trying to, Michael never had to force his way out because the Bulls never put him in position to have to do so. Kobe, the Lakers almost put him in position to do so. And look, they end up making two different dynasties with two completely different rosters. I am always amazed by what the Lakers did during Kobe's time there. I can't think of a star that is, just, I guess, Steph Curry. Yeah, Steph Curry. Okay.
I'm trying to Google it. But like the Supermax is like something different because I'm almost positive that Westbrook signed the Supermax with OKC.
And that's why, remember, he was kind of being looked at as the villain within those three. Those guys didn't want to play with him. But then when he had a chance to leave, and you're right, he did sign that extension, then he became the good guy again because, he was loyal. He stayed in OKC when he could have forced his way out. And, of course, ultimately he ends up being traded. Right. But I did find that interesting. So Giannis Antetokounmpo chooses to stay for 5 years, $228 million with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Legend at the bank, baby.
So, I mean, and look, the thing about these deals is with the NBA, there are a lot of teams out there that'll take on big contracts. Does this mean he's going to be in Milwaukee for 5 years? I don't believe it does. I believe it's a good point because, look, the athlete has more power now than they ever have.
Mm-hmm.
James Harden has quite the lucrative deal with Houston, and he is forcing his way out of Houston. So this is why this is a great thing for Milwaukee. It's a great thing for Giannis Antetokounmpo. But if you think that Milwaukee is all of a sudden going to be able to take their foot off the gas and say, okay, good, we got him to sign the max deal. Now we don't have to provide, now the urgency to provide players isn't going to be there anymore. I'm going to argue that the pressure is there even more. Him being there, you should feel the pressure no matter. Every year you should be treating as a walk year for him with fear of losing him. Because, by the way, if you think that 2 years into this, if he hasn't won an NBA title and they haven't added significant pieces around him, all he has to do is trade me or I won't play. Mm-hmm. Anthony Davis did it with the Pelicans. James Harden's doing it right now with the Houston Rockets. He will do it with the Bucks. So do I believe that he's going to be with the Bucks for the next 5 years? No, I do not. I think that the Bucks got a little lucky here. I thought that they could have done a better job of putting pieces around him, of going out to get a side, a Robin, I guess, if that's what you will. But regardless, this is still a good thing to see a superstar like him not chase the money in a bigger market, staying with where he is. He's giving Milwaukee a chance. He's giving them a good chance to say, hey, we're going to do everything we can to put the right pieces around you to win. I'm just hoping that it's not one of those where Milwaukee takes their foot off the gas because they did the wooing process to keep him. Now they've kept him. I just hope they continue to feel the urgency of putting players around him, because if not, he's going to be doing in a couple of years what we've seen star players do for years in the NBA, and that is, you're not doing what I like, get me out of here. And I hope that's not the case, but we'll see what Milwaukee does.
Yeah, the Supermax is something new. Let's see. The first player to ever sign a Supermax contract was Steph Curry, who agreed to a 5-year, $200 million contract that runs through 21-22 season. James Harden signed his Supermax in 2017. So there's a lot of guys who signed a Supermax contract to try to, keep those players happy and keep them there. But the thing about Giannis is it's all about if they can make it to the finals, then he'll stay all 5 years, because you got to think how young Giannis is. I think there's a situation where Giannis can be there at least 4 years and then force his way out, but that's like you talked about. That's what like NBA players have done over the past decade now. Once they get, at first it started like when they get to in their last year of their contract, then they force their way out. But now, like we're seeing it right now with James Harden. He has 2 years left on his deal, and that's why everybody was open in arms, including myself, about him turning down the extension to that contract for 2 more years for another $100 million. At this point, like, people got to realize, like, and these organizations have to realize as well, once you give the dude the Supermax, he has the power even more because now he has the money. So now that extra extension isn't going to mean anything to him. You know, like we look at an extra $100 million to James Harden, like, man, what are you doing, man? Get that money, yada, yada, yada. But he's already made like $200 million off that initial Supermax contract, not including the millions he's made off after his rookie deal. So it's very delicate. And like you said, it's up to the organization to put players around him to help them win a championship. Now, is the team that they have currently constructed good enough to win an NBA championship? I don't know. I really like Drew Holiday. I think that's definitely an upgrade at point guard over Drew Bledsoe. He's a good defender. He's a knockdown shooter. Middleton's a knockdown shooter. I definitely think they're coming out of the East this year. I don't think that the Celtics have enough firepower to deal with everything Milwaukee's going to bring this year. But I've been a proponent of saying if I was Milwaukee, I would do everything in my power to go ahead and get James Harden on that team. And instead of having Giannis be the initiator of the offense, have him be the finisher. James Harden has shown the ability to be a finisher and a creator. Now you have two creators and two finishers on the team. Like Middleton is a good shooter, but he's not a creator for his own self or teammates. So when you put all that onus on Giannis to create for others and score the ball and try to develop that jump shot, that's a lot of pressure that his game is just not developed all the way there yet. But James Harden's game is fully developed. He can play multiple positions. If I'm Milwaukee, I'm still, everything is on the table, including Middleton, including Drew Holiday, if I can get a James Harden on my team. And if you get James Harden and Giannis on the same team, I see championships.
All right, 457-946 for us the number to call in. We only have a few more minutes left here. We have another part, right? We still have another part of the show?
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, folks, we're going to close out the part of the show on the other side of the break. Little Dayton Flyers talk. I'll tell you why. I'm hearing a lot. Like, I know I get labeled a UD hater and all that fun stuff. I don't hate UD. I'm actually going to tell you right now, I mean, I'm very surprised at the lack of not excitement. That's not the word to use. But like a lot of people are pretty like negative about the Dayton Flyers right now. I'm hearing seeing a lot of it on social media. Just not happy with the way the team looks. And I'm going to tell you why last year was probably the worst thing that could have ever happened for this fan base. Not the program. Last year was the greatest thing that could have ever happened for the program. Last year's team was the worst thing that could have ever happened for this fan base. I'll explain. I'll talk Dayton Flyers basketball next.
Freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks, freaking chicken chunks. $29.99 each and 4 pounds of freaking chicken chunks. You can get the four sauces too. You can get the four sauces too. Four sauces too. Four sauces too. Four sauces too. Freaking chicken chunks.
Ring in the season with 4 pounds of frickin' chicken chunks. Buy a $25 Frickers gift card and get 5 frickin' bonus pops free. The ho home for fun, food, sports, and spirits is Frickers.
Freaking chicken chunks, four sauces too. Freaking chicken chunks, 4 freaking pounds. Freaking chicken chunks.
Hey, Sam, back from your date so soon?
It didn't exactly go well. I really struggle with communication, trust, lack of commitment. At this rate, I'll be a single mom forever.
Maybe you should check out if you qualify for the free classes offered at Marriage Works Ohio. They have TANF funds for people over 18 with a child at home or pregnant. You may qualify as a single mom. They help married couples and singles with healthy relationship classes, including topics like dating. Go to trustmarriage.com or call 937-262-7010 to register.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring for brand new home daily dedicated lanes. Earn up to $1,620 per week. A $2,000 sign-on bonus, medical, dental, vision, company paid life insurance. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Give the gift of a Dayton tradition. Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps. Milano's gift cards are the perfect way to give good times and those favorite subs and pizza to family and friends. Right now, for each $25 Milano's gift card you buy, you'll get $5 more free.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Whatever you send through the U.S. Postal Service this season is so much more than mail or packages. In every carrier's hands is a card with your handwriting. In every box, on every truck, is your message that you care. We know how much goes into your holiday mail, especially this year, which is why we go the distance to bring you closer. Learn more at USPS.com/closer.
BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today with professional counseling done securely online. Visit betterhelp.com/feelhappy and get 15% off your first month.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio. All right, everybody, we welcome you back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. I wanted to close out with this. I found it interesting. We've been doing these UD pregame shows. Sully's been hosting the UD pregame shows out at Timothy's Bar and Grill, and there's been a lot of the excitement amongst the fan base right now who's just looking for a place to watch the games. Timothy's has been an awesome host for the students to watch these games and everything. But, following along reaction on social media, and look, Flyer fans are the most, they get so defensive about their team. They have that big brother mentality of, hey, we could say bad things about our team, but you can't do it, because then they get defensive, right? Like we're all like that with our teams. I'm like that with the Browns, in case you didn't know. I don't know if you've been able to tell that today, but I've noticed like a lot of people, like this Flyers team is 3-1, and they just beat Mississippi State this past weekend. And it got me to thinking like how big of a win that was. Like that win is actually, this sounds crazy. Hear me out. That win to me might be one of the biggest wins in Coach Anthony Grant's tenure here. Because I started thinking, Anthony Grant got here a few years ago. Let's go back to the 2017-2018 season. They lost. They played Auburn. They played St. Mary's. They played Mississippi State. They lost all three of those. Those were their big non-conference games. They lost them all. Didn't beat them. That was not a great year for them either in his first season. But they played all those three really good non-conference opponents, lost to them. 2018, 2019, a much better team, 20-win team, very competitive in the conference. They played Virginia and lost. Mm-hmm. The Dayton Flyers played Oklahoma in 2018 and lost. They played Auburn and lost. They played Mississippi State and lost. And that season, everyone was so pumped up about the growth of the team, the progression of the team, because each year under Anthony Grant, they've gotten better and better. Last season was the absolute worst thing that could have happened for this fan base, not the program. Last year, the success with Obi Toppin and everything was the best thing that could have ever happened to the program. They're going to build and get better. But for the fan base, who went from a very good UD team with Anthony Grant getting better each year to go from just being, for one, under 500 his first year, to a 20-win competitive team in his second year, to being the number 3 team in the country in his third year. Like, you went from 0 to 100 real quick. And anything in between now just doesn't taste good. You know what I mean? Anything in between now just doesn't feel good. This Dayton Flyers team right now is 3-1. They lost to St. Mary's at the to SMU at the buzzer. Now that kind of falls back in line with what we've seen from Anthony Grant teams before the number 3 team in the country last year, right? Really good teams in the non-conference. They always seem to come up short. But this past weekend, when they beat Mississippi State in double overtime, I was watching the clip that UD put on their Twitter account of Anthony Grant addressing his team after. He looked at his guys and he said, look, we grew up. I watched you guys grow up tonight. Like, you guys took a major step forward. And I couldn't agree with them more. Like, I think that this win over Mississippi State this past Saturday was probably the biggest win for Anthony Grant outside of being the number 3 team in the country last year. Take last year out of it. I know people, I'm not taking a shot here, Kev. I think I'm being pretty realistic. Mm-hmm. I know you aspire to be on regular the number 3 team in the country every year. It's just not going to happen. Okay, it's just not going to happen. What you are going to be on the normal is fringe top 25 every year. All right, and that's good. You're going to be having these great non-conference matchups every year. You're going to be competing for your league title every year, and you're going to be getting at-large bids, every year, assuming you stick to the plan and win enough of those games. Like, that would have been huge. Think about that year in 2017. If UD beats any of those teams, Auburn, St. Mary's, Mississippi State, the city's going bananas. They're going bananas. They're going crazy. Think about 2018. If the Dayton Flyers would have beat Virginia, who they lost in a close one to. They lost in a close one to Oklahoma. They played Auburn at home that year. Mississippi State. They lost all of those. If UD beats any of those teams, the city's going crazy. Mm-hmm. But then last year happens. You still lose, you beat, Georgia and everything. Of course, you lose to Kansas in overtime in the Maui final. You lose to the top 25 Colorado team. Those are only 2 losses. But my point is, you're the number 3 team in the country. You had visions of being a Final Four team contending for a national championship. You had an NBA lottery pick. You fans tasted a level of greatness last year that is the norm for Power 5 blue blood schools and not the norm for A10, a fringe above mid-major schools. So last year was the worst thing that could have ever happened for the fan base because it is tough. When you go from 0 to 100, anything in between moving forward just doesn't feel like, think about it. When you're driving 55 and then you get on the highway and you're going 70 for hours and hours and you get off the highway and you're going 55, you know how it kind of goes, man, I'm not even going that fast. This is miserable. I'm so that's Flyer fans right now. Folks, the Flyers just beat Mississippi State this past Saturday. Look how many opportunities the Flyers have had against these Power 5 teams outside of the NCAA tournament that they haven't been able to get wins against over the last 3 or 4 years. That was a huge win this past Saturday, and I just want to point out that you are 3-1. You just beat a Power 5 school. You have another opportunity with Ole Miss coming to the arena on Saturday. This is a great start to the season for the Dayton Flyers, and people are pointing out, they don't look good rebounding. They don't got a deep bench. Why are they playing a walk-on? Anthony Grant didn't call a timeout when he had one left, and they almost nearly, Mississippi State nearly brought the ball down the floor and won. My point is this: is just relax. Last year was fun, but you got to take last year out of your mind a little bit. Last year, you should never forget it. It should always be an experience, but that's not what UD is going to be moving forward. I'm not saying they can't do it because they did it, but that's not who they're going to be on the regular. That's not me taking a shot. That's the reality of it. I'm trying to reset the reality. And the sooner you get into grip with reality, the sooner that these types of games are going to mean more. People enjoyed the win over the weekend, but I was shocked at how little people enjoyed it. Like, we would have, if 2 years ago they beat Mississippi State, we don't stop hearing about it. And I just feel like because last year we were spoiled.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like, they've had so many opportunities. Auburn, Mississippi State, St. Mary's, Virginia, Oklahoma. They've had these opportunities the last 4 years. Take last year out. They've lost all of them. You win any of those in years past, this city is going bananas. But because of last year, because you were the number 3 team in the country, because you were elevated and getting the national spotlight, this year, you are a really good version of what you're supposed to be. I just need you folks to truly enjoy it. Now, there's a good pocket of fans who are realistic and are enjoying it, but I'm seeing a lot of negativity on social media, and for once, it's not me. Agree? Disagree?
I agree, man. I say that same thing about Ohio State football. We're so spoiled from their success. And last year was awesome for the UD Flyers, but don't be spoiled from that situation. Like, it'd be different if the team was full of potential number 1 picks and, they're not playing to their capabilities. But this team isn't full of first-round picks. They're full of very good basketball players with aspirations to make it to the NBA. But these guys aren't locked with lottery picks in the NFL, in the NBA. So let coach do his job and enjoy the wins, because there's going to be a lot of wins this season. Be happy about them.
Yeah, and as we close it out, Chris Schultz says, Justin about to dump on 95% of his listeners, aka UD fan. I didn't. I did. I was actually saying 3-1 with the win over Mississippi State. Like, that win is one of the biggest wins of Anthony Grant's career. It just doesn't feel like it because last year they played at such a high level. Coming down from that is still, like, this season, they are better than what they were the first 2 seasons of Anthony Grant. And we're sitting here acting like, we're spoiled from last year. So, no, Chris, I'm not dumping on the fans. You're just being a sensitive little freaking crybaby. And like always, I didn't say anything there that should have got you all upset. And then he goes on to say, no, UD fans don't expect the team to be last year.
Thanks for listening, Chris.
Chris is used to me dumping on him because he dumps on me all the time. It's fair. He started it. Now, he said, no, UD fans don't expect the team to be last year's team. I'm not saying all of them are that way, but there's a good chunk, and I'm responding to those folks. That's all. All I'm saying is I'm not a hater. I'm actually just saying this team's really good, and they just beat an SEC team this past weekend, and I feel like we should be more pumped about that. That's a big deal. That's a big deal because we're used to seeing UD play those types of teams. We're not used to seeing them beat those teams in the regular season. They just beat Mississippi State. They have another big opportunity against Ole Miss coming up on Saturday, and then we head into conference play, and that's where the real fun starts as well. But yeah, folks, have a great night. We'll do this again another time. Until then, it's been the Justin Kinner Show with Kevin Nash, the 1410 ESPN Radio. Go Browns.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM. Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
Champagne Dental, fear out of dentistry. Champagne Dental Group in Urbana recognizes that dental phobias are real. If phobias are preventing you from getting dental treatment, we have numerous options to keep you comfortable and ease your fears. We offer multiple methods to help relax you while you're in the chair, which include oral sedation, medication, and nitrous oxide free of charge. Our friendly and caring staff make it their mission to get you the smile you desire. Visit us online at champagnedentalgroup.org. Champagne Dental, fear out of dentistry.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
The radio in your dash is more than radio. That SiriusXM button is instant access to a world of exclusive entertainment, including ad-free music channels for every genre and decade. You can also hear your favorite sports, comedy, talk, and news. Plus, you can stream with the SiriusXM app on your phone and connected home devices. And there's never been a better time to listen. Subscribe now and get your first 12 months for $5 a month with a new select subscription. Fees and taxes apply. Go to SiriusXM.com to learn more.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the US that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some peace and quiet? When questions find you, Merrill Edge Self-Directed Investing can help you find answers with personalized planning tools and insights to help you get where you want to go, even if it's just downstairs. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/withinreach to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated. Registered broker-dealer, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
This year, get a gift for the crew and something for you, too. Shop Lowe's in-store or at lowesforpros.com for brands like DeWalt, Metabo, HPT, Yeti, and more. While supplies last, U.S. only.
WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
This, so far this week, have really put the Bills on that standard, saying, hey, if they have their offense matching the expectation and deliverance of their defense, they're a team that can contend with the Chiefs. Do you see either of those teams, the Browns or the Ravens, actually maybe potentially moving in that direction where maybe they have the recipe for success against them?
I'm one that still puts the Bills above them at this point.
Same.
A lot of that's because I was very scared by Ariel Helwani the other day. I want to make Christine Lisi happy, the first and foremost Buffalo Bills fan of the ESPN